Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Here, assaulting your wonderful ears, if you're listening to the podcast portion of it, is StreetRat Atlas joining us as usual, and Jake Starvik here on our wonderful attempt at doing podcasting, as well as streaming at the same time. How are you, Impulsive? I see you already have your butt popcorn ready and waiting, as per usual. Munching away there. How are you, StreetRat?
I'm doing well. I'm doing very well. Um, yeah, things are going good. I'm working. I don't know. I'm kind of excited because I've been playing more with Affinity, and I'm now working on my starting stream and doing graphic design side of things. So I'm
Yep.
really excited.
Yep.
Because now I'm like knee deep in designing it and getting the moving pieces for the animation. So I'm excited to the end product. I'm
Nice.
excited for it.
Good.
So that's How are you going?
I'm doing okay. I potentially might have a new job. So I did the health check on, I think that was Tuesday or Wednesday, which was flawless, no issues whatsoever.
Amazing.
Yeah, even my eyesight was like almost 20/20 as far as him getting me to stand there and like check one eye and then the other eye. I'm like, oh yeah, I can see the bottom line. Oh, great. It's nice to know that my surgery was A-okay and that the eyesight hasn't degraded in any kind of sense. So yeah, but I'm just waiting for the A-okay from them to make sure that everything's good from their side of things so that I can then write up my resignation letter to my current job. So yes. Yeah, I'm kind of like, I am excited because it's something new, but I'm also dreading it because it is not necessarily in an industry that I am overly passionate about. I don't know how to feel about it because it's just a sales role for air conditioning and refrigeration, but I am up for the challenge and the kind of new experiences that I'm probably going to get out of it. So that's fun. Yeah.
That's awesome. It's something different.
Yes, and of course it comes with a slight increase in pay, which I can appreciate. So I'm very grateful. If anything, I'm more grateful that they even just gave me the opportunity, because they are very much taking a risk on me. So yeah, we shall see how that all pans out.
Nice.
Now, what have you been playing, sir? A recent.
I've been playing a lot of RuneScape.
Really? Okay.
Because I finally found a game that I can multitask in, and it's so good. So while I'm doing my graphic design and scouring the web, going on Pinterest, going down Reddit rabbit holes and bullshit like that, I have RuneScape window, and I'm just like, oh yeah, easy. I've got to get defense up. Let's just kill some monks for a couple of hours.
I'm trying to picture how you like multitask with that. Like, are there jobs that you just kind of let the character do his thing and he just goes and does it without you necessarily nurturing him?
Yeah. The higher your level gets, the more things take longer. It's almost like a mobile game in a sense, where the higher tier stuff take longer to get because of it needs to slow down your progression.
Yes. That's how they keep you invested in the game for long terms.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And it's similar how Fantasy Life I works with the life experience. It starts to slow down as you progress. So I'm trying to get back to where I was in my OG RuneScape character.
Okay.
So I have level 30 defense, attack, level 38 mining, 28 for smithing, level 10 for fishing. Like, I'm getting everything up, obviously. Like, that's the whole point of the game. So I can get back into my mithril armor.
What's the max level for all the different classes or all the different skills?
99.
Okay.
But I don't have access to all the skills because you have to be a member.
As in,
I'm
like,
just
you
playing
need to
freemium.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you need to subscribe to the actual proper account to get the other jobs. Gotcha. So what are you missing? What are you missing as far as those jobs?
Oh gosh. Hunting. I was not prepared for this.
No, I'm asking because I'm curious.
Skills.
And I'm sure there are some people that might be also curious as well if they haven't played.
Athletics, herbalism, theft, hunting.
Yep. Smithing? Is there anything like smithing?
Smithing is free.
Oh, good. Cool.
You've got agility, herbalore, thieving, slayer, farming, construction, hunter, summoning, divination, invention, archaeology, necromancy.
Dude, that's actually a decent chunk that you potentially are missing out on.
Yeah, but the free ones: attack, constitution, mining, strength, smithing, defense, fishing, range, cooking, prayer, grafting, fire making, magic, fletching, wood cutting, rune crafting, and dungeoneering. There's more in the free than it is in the membership.
Yeah, but like, okay, so you've got attacking. What's agility then? Is that like your speed stat increases?
Improves run energy regeneration rate, allows access to shortcuts around the world, and grants access to agility abilities. Higher levels allow the possibility of multiple loot from thieving, fishing, and hunting. So it's a partner kind of skill with other skills.
Yeah, right. That's okay. Yeah, I get why they did it that way. That's it's unfortunate, but okay. Do you know how much they charge per month?
$20.
Wow.
Because I looked at it.
What is WoW in comparison to that? WoW monthly charge. Because like that's that or current price, $12.99 a month. Why did that error out? Come on, Blizzard. You're not that bad. Okay, yeah, no, that's so 12-month special, which works out to be $20.75 a month. All right, so it's about the same. 1 month is $23.95. Cool. What is that? $249 for what? Is that for the game as well as build every 12 months? Ugh. No. Oh, that's the full price if you're doing a year. Okay. That makes a bit more sense. So for the whole year, it's $249. Yeah, okay. So yeah, it's basically
expensive.
Well, yes, but when you consider the fact that you are getting I don't know. There's always something nice about you're paying a subscription, you're helping their servers run, and you're guaranteed to get, I think, a much more cleaner experience that way, as opposed to something like Warframe, where as much as I appreciate its free aspect of it, you can tell that it just starts to get a little bit penny pinching. For like the really stupid shit, for like, oh, if you want more than like 2 colors or 4 colors, you got to pay for every single color spectrum and various different customizations and armors and this and that, as opposed to you just find it as you explore the world kind of deal. So, but it comes down to if you want to pay, whether you can afford it. But yeah, so you're going through that.
Yep. And I've been playing a little Liza P in my last stream,
Yes, how have
but
you found it?
I jumped. I did play Pokemon Legends ZA, and I
Mhm.
caught Kyogre.
Okay.
So now I have Primal Kyogre in my box. So very cool. I have to say the design is gorgeous. It's like translucent and you can see the inner
Kyogre.
body. But you have to look at the ZA render.
No,
It
that's all
looks
right.
so
All right,
cool.
so that's the Koga? No, Kyogre.
KYRG. No,
Kyogre.
KYOGRE. Mhm.
Yes.
But
But we
primal.
want. Yeah. KY. Keep talking.
So I got that. That was fun. I really enjoy the boss battles, so to speak, or raid battles of Pokemon Legend. They're so much fun. And I think if they did cooperative with other players, I think it would be so much more fun. But Kyogre was really interesting. I died several times. It was good. So now I've got to get Groudon, so then I can get Rayquaza. And I know there's a whole bunch of other Pokemon after that I have to catch.
Yep.
So I've still got quite a bit to go.
Groudon, there it is. Yeah, fair enough.
Which I don't really care for Groudon. I had Pokemon Sapphire when I was growing up. I was a water kid.
I mean, at this point, I'm gonna show my age here and just kind of go with I very much only connect with the Pokemon up through Gold and Silver, and past that, it's kind of a mishmash of maybe there's a few I know, but for the most part, it's just the Gold and Silver ones, or a large portion of those. I know a majority of the first 152, so
Yeah, they're classics.
you can't beat them.
But other than that, Lies P. Woo! I did it! That stupid motherfucker went down.
How did you go with that?
So I took advantage of the summoner because I find I can get through phase 1 really quickly and get into phase 2.
Yep.
It's almost just okay, if you can get through to phase 2 and you need to speed run it just to get back to where you were, the summoning is really fucking helpful.
Yep.
I don't know how I did it. I don't think I was breathing when I did it either.
Yep. I get that sensation.
So I was just going for it. I was using the DLC, like the crossover Lancer glaive, the dragon glaive.
Yep.
So I used that as my main weapon, which I should have been using had begun using because I'm building towards technique. And that's an S ranking in technique, so I should have just been using that. And it had fucking distance, so it was really helpful. It was really good. But fuck me. Oh, I did it though. I did it. And I'm so happy.
That's good.
The second phase is stupid. When he is forward, and if you're attacking from behind, he then changes forms and then goes backwards.
Yep.
And then he starts doing this weird launch attack with his arms. And you're 100% correct. He's not designed to be in that arena. It's far too tight and so fucking awkward.
Yeah.
You get caught. He can push you against the wall and you can't get out. You're just, I accept my fate now.
Yeah.
Um,
It's not as bad as a crocodile, but anyway, keep going.
You did it though.
I did, but it's because I figured out a trick with him. But keep going.
But now it's funny now that I'm doing like the next part, so the redux of the station, and now everything's kind of now transformed, which I'm familiar with because I saw some of your stream when you were in that area.
Yep.
There's that large dog scorpion that was kind of in an open area by some train platforms.
The one with the massive, they're like, I think I know what you're talking about. He's got like the
Kinda
little
looks like a
rock
behemoth.
things. Yeah. And he's got the rock hands, which you can destroy. I think it's, yeah. Man, when those things shattered, I was so impressed because it just reminded me of Monster Hunter. And I'm thinking, wow, there's some like little systems in this with a few of the enemies that are unique and creative for something that you feel should just play like a stock standard Souls-like. But they actually go a little bit further by giving some of the enemies things that do break. So it's not just the weapons that break if you block them correctly every single time, but also some of their body parts. Like the guys that I've been fighting, which are also in the base game as well, where they're the hunters, but they're the alchemists. And so if you get behind them, they got the vials on their back, which explode and basically just do this massive amount of damage, and you just demolish them, which is really cool.
Oh, that's sick. And they're in the zoo?
They're in the zoo, and you also have them. You'll actually, I think you'll be coming up to them shortly.
Right.
If memory serves, yes. Yeah, so you haven't actually got up to them just yet. Sorry, I'm looking outside the window because it's raining, so I'm just making sure that the rain's not coming in. Yes, so you should be coming up to them shortly. I think this area that you're going to be re-exploring starts introducing them, so you'll see them.
Which makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay. But I think I'm about to fight a field boss. I think there's just someone in a large square room, and I'm like, oh, I'm just going to step out just very quickly. I'm going to clean out this area before I go and attempt.
Yeah.
Because I can tell it's a boss fight.
Yeah.
But like one of the field boss fights. But how is your experience with Lies of P?
I'll be honest, I'm having such a love-hate relationship with it. So I gotta admit, it is a hard game. Without a shadow of a doubt, it doesn't have a lot of the niceties. And it's not the hardest of these types of games. Like even Impulsive can probably attest to this himself because he's played through all the last two Neo games. But Neo 1 has some ridiculously stupid spongy bosses that if you don't get the timing right or you don't get certain movesets that the enemies use on you and the cadence and the patterns down, you're just going to get curb stomped. And it's kind of the experience that I have with this where they are so relentless. And it's to the point that when Jason was looking at my stats and he's telling me, you have more health than what you should have at this point in the game. You should be putting your stats into other parts and other things that would theoretically make it easier. But for me, though I get what he's talking about, and he's realistically referring to the fact that I should be increasing my weight capacity so I can use some of the stronger or the better armor, because apparently armor works really well. However, even with the heavier armor chucked on, you're still chunking a lot of damage. So health, for me, is still kind of a priority. And I may have a lot of it, but at least it means that I'm not dying in like 2, maybe 3 hits. And there are some attacks with some of these bosses that are so relentless, like the ape, where they will just go bang, 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 and you're dead. Like, you don't really have an opportunity to get up or do anything. So if you don't get the timings, if you don't get the rhythms down for whatever reason, because you're just not someone who's privy to that, I can understand the frustration of playing this game on its quote-unquote base difficulty. And though I understand that someone like Jason may kind of go, why is there an easy mode? Because it's designed for, you know, your news outlets. No, I get why there's an easy mode. Because this game is not, it's at times unfairly challenging. And it really just demands of you to be so perfect in your execution, which is fine. I appreciate that. But it's one of the things I think Souls games, though they are hard, they do offer a lot of flexibility and a lot of different ways that you can mitigate some of that damage. Whether it's using a shield, I know shields aren't perfect, but they at least mitigate the damage. You take stamina, but you're better off taking stamina and then finding ways to avoid the hits than taking health and then dying completely. And at least, all right, you might chunk a bit of health, like stamina with the shield blocks, depending on the type of shield, but you can at least maybe get one hit that way. And you can kind of chip away at the enemies in that fashion, depending on how responsive you are with your shield and how often you're getting hit. Whereas this game doesn't have that. And even Sekiro is a little bit more forgiving with the blocking system. Provided you get somewhat within the timing flexibility, it's fine, at least on a base playthrough. And then when you choose to increase the difficulty with the Kuro Bell, which essentially requires you to now get perfect blocking timing, otherwise it functions like this, where you will, if you don't get the perfect block, you will chunk a bit of damage. But there's no way of gaining that back. So this is the one advantage that Liza P does have, is sometimes you are better off chunking a bit of damage because it's better than just taking a full open hit. So you're almost better even button mashing, because you'll get hit, but you won't get hit for 2 or 3 and then you're down. You might survive 5 or 6 until your stamina is completely gone, and then that's when you usually get thrown on your back foot and then you get taken advantage of. So yeah, I gotta admit that Ape really pushed me in a way that I admit to myself I was getting frustrated without a shadow of a doubt. But I was impressed that when I came back a week later, I was able to take him out on my second go. So that was fun. It was cool. And now going through this new area, I'm dealing with certain types of enemies that I'm kind of like, okay, once I've dealt with it once, I don't really have the patience of trying to learn these enemies again. And unless you're going to force me to do it, which is fine. If I have to, I have to. But for the most part, give me the next thing that I need to learn. Because what I kind of jerried in my head, it's all fine and dandy when a game's trying to get you to go, you need to learn this perfect timing system so that you can take advantage of the enemy. And I go, that's great. The problem is me learning, like the general kind of discussion of learn the timings or learn the mechanics of the game. Cool, you learn the mechanics. However, those mechanics only work in the timings based on the boss that you're fighting at that point in time. So when it's the first time you're encountering this boss, you now need to learn its timings. And it really comes down to how patient are you to learn every single moveset with every single type of variation and the randomness of it. So that at any point in time, your subconscious just kind of goes, cool, that's what's coming at me. That's what's coming at me. And I need to have this kind of rhythm to block or to dodge or do whatever. Mm-hmm. And I get the appeal, but when you just want to kind of not breeze through the game, because you want to have a challenge, but you don't want to feel like you're bashing your head against the wall every single time. So you're spending 6, 12, 20 hours dying 100 times to an enemy, as opposed to let this be challenging enough that I kind of figure out what I need to do and how to avoid it. So then I can defeat it And then if I want to up the challenge, give me some of the difficulty options to do so. And I think the Star Wars Jedi games, which I've actually picked up the recent one on PC because it's like $12 at the moment on Steam, so yay.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, really cheap. It's the cheapest it's been because they usually only go down as far as about $16, I think, 15, 16. So 12, I was like, I'm picking that up. But those have a really cool system of you can play the game on a normal difficulty, and we have a leeway of how perfect you need to be with your blocks and your dodges, or play it on the hardest difficulty where you've played through the game and you've mastered it, or you're the, sadist who enjoys punishing yourself for some strange reason and chuck it on the hardest difficulty where the timing is pinpoint, where if you don't get that perfect timing, you're dead. So I think there's reasons to have variations in the difficulty. And this game really just iterates that to me where I go, I get why the easy mode's there, and anyone that criticizes it is an idiot and an asshole and an arrogant piece of shit. And if you enjoy that difficulty, that's fine. I get that in the developer's head, that's their intended playthrough. But guess what? As developers, they've played the game thousands upon thousands upon thousands of times because that's what they do. They've been working on the thing for over 5-6 years. So, of course, they can sit there with their eyes closed and pick up the sounds. And I was paying attention to this with the croc. The croc is like the first time I recognized this, where the croc would make a certain type of sound, and then he'd react, and then a certain type of sound, and he'd react. So then I started paying attention not just to the body, but the noises. And so you recognize what the developers are doing with not just the visual cues, but sound cues as well, as a way to guide the player to go, and now, and now, and now. So it really becomes a rhythm game, and it's how much do you enjoy the difficulty of the dance? But no, that croc. So I was impressed with myself that I figured it out. Because, and I figured it out in a way that I went, okay, I can either spend the next 3 hours doing what I did with the monkey boss, with the swamp boss, and get the timing so down packed that I'm blocking every single one of these hits, which is possible. I think it's actually more possible with the croc than what it is with the monkey. Because the monkey's got more sporadic types of attacks. He's got more variation. You've obviously got the 2 phases as opposed to the croc where it's kind of a 1 phase. But a little bit more stretched out. But what I recognized was with the croc, the problem was a lot of his attacks, when you're blocking them, he's pushing you back, and then you have the camera problem, which I'm like, fuck, this is not working. It's actually making it more difficult, and I need to be constantly having to charge him, but it's not like I have those kind of opportunities. So what I figured out was, okay, instead of blocking some of these attacks, when he does them, just dodge off to the right, which is such a regular tactic that's used in some of these Souls games where you use a bit of the iframes, but you also take advantage of the hitbox, which is kind of hitting in front of the player, but you're just skidding off to the side of them. And that way I was actually able to do more attacks. And the only other attack that I needed to then be mindful of was the croc's tail whip, which was being activated because I'm now behind him.
Yeah.
So you start to kind of, I got to admit, there was a guy on YouTube that when he broke down some of the hitboxes specifically for the swamp boss, so I knew about how bullshit some of these attacks are. Because a few of them, the boxes are set up so weirdly. Like when he's shooting his sludge in the first phase, it's if you stand, like when you look at it, if you stand underneath him, theoretically, you'd think that you shouldn't be getting hit because the sludge is going over your head. But the hitbox actually covers from where his mouth is all the way to the ground. So if you're standing anywhere in that line, you're dead. you're going to get hit. And because of how the bosses track you really just obsessively, you can't get around him. So the only option is, all right, I'll just stand back and just wait till you're done. Now I can move in, or I wait for you to do your little charge attack, in which case you're either doing the underground one or you're charging me, in which case I can block you if I get the timing right and stun lock you for like a couple of seconds, which gives me a few hits. So you're right, that first phase of the swamp boss is relatively easy, and then it's the second phase where he just becomes ridiculous, where you're like, fuck me. Like the ape was ridiculous, but there were places and positions that you could tell as a player, I'm actually safe to stand here, or I'm able to be in this position without feeling like I'm about to get raped. And the ape in Sekiro is just bonkers, or even the Demon of Hatred. But again, they give you a bigger play space to run around in, so... But no, so the croc was challenging, but I figured out if I dodge certain attacks off to the right or to the left of him, I was able to then mitigate some of the other combos that he'd start doing, because now he's doing the combos in a direction that I'm not there and I'm on the side, and then he's activating a different series of moves. So yeah, that was fun. Now I'm up to a different boss, which I think you're really going to love. I don't know if you've seen my gameplay, if you went back, but if you haven't, that's fine. You can watch it on Wednesday, or you can leave it as a surprise and don't watch it, because I got to admit, she's on a level of like Bloodborne what the fuckery.
Oh.
Times 2, I want to say. There's something cool about the boss battle. The way it works, the way it operates, it's well thought out. So, I mean, I'm going to enjoy that. That's going to be a head fuck. So, depending on how I go with that, I will probably attempt it at least for another hour and a half. If I can't get through it, then I'll probably go back to the base game, continue with that. So I feel like I'm at least progressing and I'm not stuck at this wall. And then I can go back to her and try her a few more times. So I've at least now kind of got some breathing room as far as choices, which is good.
Okay.
But yeah, I've said this before. The world building, the storytelling is really impressive. But the issues that I have with the choices they've made as far as difficulty, I'm a bit hit and miss on it. But I do recognize that I think it's also the type of weapons that you choose to use, as well as how you choose to level up your characters, that probably determine the strength and your capabilities, which is always going to be the case with these games. So yeah, that's my Lies of P. The other two things, I'm obviously playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is just a blast. I finally got back to the main quest, because I did a bunch of the side quests. I finished off a couple of the side quests that I needed to do, helping out some friends of the character and some of the townspeople and whatnot. There's still a heap that I still need to do. And then some treasure maps that I've started kind of delving into, but apparently I think my locksmithing ability isn't high enough. So I'll leave them for once my lockpicking, has improved. But man, the world building and the storytelling in this is just on another level. So I'm in this town, I'm having to investigate and find a specific guy with a limp. And turns out he gets slaughtered. And I need to figure out who he was chatting to, who potentially slaughtered him, who knows him. And the only person that had contact with him last was this priest in the town. Now, he won't tell me anything because, of course, his religious code forbids him to share that information.
Oh.
So, okay, he needs some convincing. So he's like, well, if you want, maybe we can find a way if you come join me at the tavern. But he's also got his own issue where he's got a couple of girls who've been seeing some sort of witch in the forest, and he's concerned about their safety. So I go help him with that because he's like, all right, come see me in the evening at the inn. All right, that's fine. I'll go sort out this witch problem because I'm just like start of the day kind of thing. Go out into the forest. I'm chatting to the witch, who's just a herbologist, and she's like, look, these 3 women, they each have their own issue. One lost her husband, one lost her child during birth, another one had some other issue. They want to contact the dead and talk to them. So I gave them the specific herbal medicine that uses a couple of plants that will allow them to hallucinate. It's like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, but I'm kind of concerned that they might get themselves killed if they don't mix it correctly. All right, so you go and you speak to the women and you try to convince them, and they're like, well, come meet us in the forest and you can keep an eye on us, blah, 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 but stay at a distance. So I catch up with them. It's now nighttime, and I'm thinking it's going to be a quick thing where I can kind of sort them out and then go to the bar. No, because I got too close to them, so now I'm part of the ritual, and they're all touching me, which means now I'm getting drugged up because they're putting all the drugs on me. So, and they're hallucinating and thinking that I'm the devil. So they basically tried to summon Lucifer. So they assume I'm Lucifer.
Oh my God.
Where are your demon horns? I start hallucinating. Everyone's turning into animals. Now I'm lockpicking one of the girls, which I'm assuming is getting busy with them. And then a couple of guys rock up, and they're supposed to be demons, but they're not demons. They're a couple of farmhands that were worried about the girls, and I obviously fought them off and killed them. So naturally, it's now the next morning. I've seen the little marker in my quest log saying you failed to go see the priest at the bar. I'm like, fucks, and I gotta go apologize to him. And he's like, well, what happened? Well, here's what happened. And I killed a couple of farmhands because the girls were getting high off this thing when they were trying to contact Lucifer. And the priest is like, oh my God, what have you done? This was supposed to be such a simple thing. Heaven have mercy on us. Okay, well, we can sort out the thing at the bar if you come tonight. Thank you for apologizing, blah, blah, blah. Also, you're an idiot. Cool. Now I'm thinking to myself, God, this priest is going to be an asshole, and he's probably going to kill this witch in the forest because of what happened, which hasn't happened. I don't know yet. But then I go catch up with the priest at the bar after rescuing a farmer's horse out in the middle of the woods. And that was its fun little journey. But I'm essentially now getting drunk with this priest, getting into a brawl with the local, what are they called? He's like the local town governor type of thing. The caretaker of the actual village.
The mayor?
Well, they're not called mayors. They've got another term for them. But you're basically getting into a brawl with him, causing a ruckus. They're ringing the bell late in the, early in the morning, getting wasted, having sex in one of the farmsteads. And then you're waking up the next morning with him hungover, and he's supposed to have a mass. And he's asked you to do it. And he said, look, if you do the mass for me, and you do it as, I will tell the people at the mass that you're this priest who's come from Prague, from the Czech Republic, not the Czech, from the city of, I think maybe it is Prague. And do it like I kind of told you at the bar, because he tells you the story about a particular speech that another priest had made that he was very inspired by. So he's like, if you do it like that you were inspired by him and that you're kind of a representative of him, maybe we can convince the people. So you do the mass, and it's all very much these skill checks based off of your charisma and some of your other stats, which, because I've been reading in the game and my reading skill is quite high, I've got a decent amount of charisma. So that's not an issue. But there's a couple of -1, -2 that you get because you've been drinking, so you are hungover. So you get these stat negatives based on what you've been doing. But I pass it with flying colors, and of course he's turned around. It's like, man, I shouldn't be telling you this information. And Henry's like, well, we've just had a massive fight on with the local caretaker. We've, been doing debauchery and excessive drinking. So I don't see what the issue is with this. He's like, yeah, I guess you're right. Okay. So he then tells you that these particular people are in another town. So that's kind of where I'm at with the main story. But it was such a wild experience. So you get like these really fun kind of quests like that are multi-layered and have a little bit of pizzazz to them, which is cool. Yeah, so that's been fun. I'm really getting into the kind of crux of it. I will admit though, the combat in the game, when you're dealing with more than 3 people, it's fucking shit. It's kind of the one time the game really does fall apart. Like it will punish you severely if you have to deal with 3 enemies at once. Because there's no way to be dealing or blocking with an enemy. You kind of need to guess on the timing of the counters and the blocks and hope to God you manage to get it. So, yeah, it's just one of those things there's other ways to mitigate multiple enemies, but it's not an easy thing. So I'm curious to see how the late game kind of operates in that fashion. The other one that I've also started on my Steam Deck, because I figured I'd do something just a little bit different, is Styx. I think it's Styx Master of Shadows, I think is the first one.
Yep.
No, Blades of Greed is the new one. Styx. Let me just have a look here. Shards of Darkness. All right, yeah. No. Shards of All right. Master of Shadows. My bad. Styx, Master of Shadows. That's the one I'm playing at the moment. Shards of Darkness is its sequel, and Blades of Greed is the up-and-coming one on the 20th of February. So I'm doing Master of Shadows. I'm giving that another go just to see what that's like. Honestly, it's fun. It plays like a Xbox 360 kind of stealth game. There's a lot of things in there. Like you've got a very basic kind of skill tree that every time you do certain missions or collect certain things, like you usually have in every, so it's set up with separate missions. And at the end of each mission, you kind of come back to like a hub base, and that's where you level up your character. But in that, you will have a space where you can pick up a couple of the resources that are like your regular, like you've got your health potions, you've got your amber potions, which is what you use for your certain abilities. So like you can turn invisible, you can make a little clone of yourself that you can control and use them to either go through doors or open hatches or like lure enemies away from you. And you can also use it to do Batman vision, as we call it. So you can see through walls and see all the highlights and stuff. And you've also got daggers, which I haven't used. And now I've got another type of acid, which you can use to dispose of bodies. Because you get incentivized to, when you kill someone, don't just leave them on the ground. Even though you might not have anyone come past and see it, you will get extra points if you hide the body. So there's little things in the game where when you complete a mission, you get rewarded on finding all of these coins that are littered around, completing the secondary objective, which is usually find this extra relic or something that, one of the characters wants and needs, as well as can you go through the level without killing anyone? Can you go through the level without setting off an alarm? All of that kind of nature. So it's got that repetitive or that replay value if you want to perfect the game and master it, which is nice. It's really cool. But I'm not really interested in that. I just want to see what the story and the kind of general gameplay is like, which is very much it's very much a stealth game. There's some mechanics that are derived from like Thief. So you will mute the sound that you make if you land on things like carpets. So you can land right behind an enemy provided it's on a carpet. If it's on like metal or other pieces of the environment, you will make a sound, which means that they will hear you. If you are walking around chairs or other tools or like brooms and buckets and stuff, you will make sounds which lure the enemies to you. So there's a couple of things in there that you can sense that they've developed some really cool systems that give you there's more risk. It's not just, okay, watch the enemy patterns and try and get past, because sometimes the table, like the chairs might be out of the table, which is great. Then you can go under the table and you go into first person mode, so you can just hide under the tables and move from table to table. But sometimes the chairs are close. So then you almost you're incentivized to move around the chair. Otherwise, knocking the chair makes a sound. The guards now will go and investigate, and they will look under the table. And if they see you, they pull you out. The combat's not really existent. When you go into combat, it's kind of this, you get this one-on-one camera, and you now have to time your attacks, and it's like you're a parry system. So you have to time the parry 2 or 3 times, and then it gives you the prompt so you can do a finishing kill. But if you got like 3 enemies on you, they'll all come at you at once and like stab you and kill you, and it's basically, all right, game over, start again. Or you try and run away and hide, which is also another option. You can obviously kill enemies in silence or aggressively. Obviously, if you're doing the quick kills, it's more aggressive. People are going to hear you. If you do the silent kill where you're kind of smothering them, it takes longer. So you're having to weigh up the kind of time factor. You've got lockpicking, but it's not a lockpicking game. It's literally just unlock a door, and you're just waiting for the timer to complete. And I've now gotten to a point where I'm dealing with a new type of bug that can't see me but can hear me really well, so I need to be mindful of things that I'm moving around in the environment so I'm not making any sounds. That's basically it. I will say, as a stealth game that has some serious verticality, it's really cool to be jumping up and climbing up certain rafts and up like castle, what are they called, like the gargoyle type, where do gargoyles sit, like on the edges that like stick out? I'm trying to think of the name, what they're called architecturally. StreetRat, are you there?
I'm trying to.
But yeah, regardless, you've essentially things like balconies and whatnot. They sit on these nuts. Yeah, like there we go. Thank you. That's the word. So you've got you've got perches, you've got balcony edges and stuff like that you can basically just jump on, and it's not like Assassin's Creed. It's kind of refreshing because it actually just plays like a stock standard Mario platformer.
Oh, it doesn't play like Batman?
No. Apart from when you're having to climb onto, there are like these black crosses that you use to climb up certain bits or climb down. But otherwise, when you are on a balcony edge, you're just walking around on it normally. So you can just either just walk off and fall to your death, unless you land on something that you can then grab onto, or you just jump up onto the balcony itself and then walk along. So it's kind of freeing, and there's this sense of, I feel like I'm actually in danger. Like I need to pay attention to where I'm jumping, how I'm jumping, because it doesn't have like your typical Assassin's Creed where when you're jumping from, say, perch to perch, or if there's beams up in the rafts, you're jumping from beam to beam to beam to beam. You're literally having to land on each beam. It's not Assassin's Creed of tick, 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 like it auto climbs and auto runs for you. None of that. So it's refreshing in that sense. It's one of the few games that I go, yeah, okay, and I don't know whether this carries on to the other games, but if it does, and I hope they improve it, it's a positive for the game. Because when you do get an edge where you kind of, you might miss the perfect timing to get on top of the perch, but if you get close enough, he will grab on. So it's like Tomb Raider in that sense, where it's like, oh shit, oh no, he's grabbed on, he can pull himself up. Awesome.
That's cool. It almost reminds me of Dishonored.
Yes. Yeah, it is a third-person version of Dishonored, but I'd probably say Dishonored has more interesting combat, more interesting landscapes to explore. How you doing, Impulsive? We can hear. We see you.
He's here for Baldur's Gate.
He is here for Baldur's Gate, which will be starting soon. Yeah, it is a good game. It's a very competent game, but you can tell that it does have that low budget, not ultra low budget, because there's like, I mean, your first cutscene that they have is in game, and then all the other cutscenes after that are a flat screen animation, like they're stills, which is just bizarre. So, yeah, like you have an interview that you're having because you're playing. It's like the story's being told from your perspective while you're being interrogated by one of the human commanders.
Mm-hmm.
And so the first time you see the two of them chatting, it's in-game cutscene. And then after that, every single interaction is just this like single panel type, couple of little still images for each interaction, which they're really well, from an art perspective, they're really well put together. But you do just kind of go, did you run out of budget, or did you run out of time, or what happened here? Or did you have the budget to have these, but you just didn't have this first one, so you kind of just put it together nice and quick. But yeah, so far, it's fun. It's not something that I would definitely go back to, and so far, from a story perspective, there's something interesting about the world building, but I haven't gotten deep into the lore of it quite yet. All I know is that he's kind of forgotten why and what he's been, and what, like, he's got some idea of who he is, and he knows that he needs to get to the specific tree, which is, it's a kingdom that's got the elves. The humans are basically in complete control, as they are. The elves are working for the humans. They're kind of imprisoned, but they've also been listening in on and spying on the humans. And there's this tree with sap that they use as a means to kind of give them these abilities, or give them these higher qualities of life and stuff. So yeah, there's something interesting about it, but I haven't quite figured out what that is yet. So we'll see if there's more to it.
Interesting.
But yeah, that's about it for me as far as what I've been playing. All right. Before we get into any of the bigger topics, you obviously wanted to talk about Highguard first, which I have played. I've done just a couple of matches.
Okay.
Do you want to express your thoughts, or do you want me to just kind of talk about the game first?
I want to talk about mine because I haven't played it. I've only looked at the trailer. So I watched the shitty reveal that Jeff Keighley so much hyped up for the end of the Game Awards. Then I watched the launch trailer. Then I watched the deep dive.
Okay. So what do you know about the game?
Whatever they've revealed, it's different game modes of an online match put into one match. So you've got capture the flag, you've got your MOBA lanes where you got to go to the base and raid it, and then once you get there, you team battle trying to get pieces. But this is my opinion of what I've watched so far.
Yep.
And then, because you actually played it, you then can correct me. So
Go for it.
I have a negative opinion about the game. I don't think it's as good. I think in a very saturated market, I'm quite disappointed. It's very much Apex Legends UI, design-wise. It feels very repeated. So I wrote, looks pretty repetitive, already in the market. Appears to bank on mount and destructibility of buildings and possibly environment. Its gameplay appeal. Unsure about this, but buildings, yes. I'm not sure about the environment, but I know the buildings themselves are destructible. I've seen it, and that's fine. That's cool. Watched launch trailer and felt as bored as the reveal trailer. Then watch the gameplay deep dive. Now, I did something pretty funny with this one. So I watched the first half of the deep dive.
Yep.
And then I just realized, what if I just mute the trailer and just write what I think is happening? So, muted the trailer halfway. Everything visually was repeated designs from other games. Loot has the white, blue, gold, purple rarities. UI looks like Respawn's game. Forgot its name. Apex Legends. Loot, chest, full loot. Kill the enemy team. The moment in the trailer is the Shroud Breaker. All notes are from prior to audio. The sword is spawned randomly in each match. And you can take the flag from the enemy. Then I go into the raid. When the raid starts, go back to base by teleporting. The enemy is now in your base. Get cool weapons that do weapon things. Destroy wall. Defuse the bombs around the base. Winning the game. Use sword on shield. Raid enemy base. But only a limited time. Then gameplay loop repeat. Buildings go boom. Boring.
Reading to filth?
Huh? Reading to filth?
I don't know.
Then gameplay loop repeats? Building go boom?
Okay. So
Boring.
what you're telling me is, based on the trailer, you have some basic conceptual understanding of things that are important, but no real context to what's happening.
Yeah, I'm just going by marketing.
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
All I know is that the game matches is at this stage 3v3, and each match is a whole slew of different game modes put into one. You've got defuse the bombs in the enemy base. You've got capture the sword, which is capture the flag. And then you've got the MOBA style lanes where you can go and raid the enemy with your massive thing.
Yes, but here's the thing. The whole game is the whole match is essentially all of those combined.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. It just sounds very boring.
And it is, but it's boring because of certain elements. So, reading the filth, talking shit about degrading it to the lowest form.
Yeah. When Jeff Keighley thought that this was deserving to be a huge reveal at the end of the Game Awards, I already had the opinion, shit, this is just going to be so so in the books of, here's another online game. It does everything that all the other games do. Then when the launch trailer dropped, I watched it and I got the same thing. It wasn't anything special. Then I watched the deep dive because I was, okay, well, what is this game going to do differently. And it doesn't do much differently. It's just doing what everything else does in one. But you played it.
So, when you first start the game, you're obviously kind of forced to do a tutorial. And the tutorial, for all intents and purposes, is fucking boring as hell. So you obviously start the tutorial where the game kind of teaches you, hey, this is how you jump, this is how you climb, this is how you shoot. And mind you, through all this, you're not shooting at anything interesting. It's just kind of putting you, hey, this is this mechanic, and this is how you use it. So it'll teach you, hey, these are the grappling points. This is how you destroy walls. If you see crystals, this is the mini game that plays when you're trying to destroy crystals, which is your resource that you use so that you can then go to the shops or the shopkeeper that's kind of in the actual play space. And now we're going to show you how the matches work. And so again, you do one of these matches without any enemies, and they basically say, okay, so here's what you do. You go around the field, go pick up some armor, and pick up like 3 sets of armor because you need armor so you can survive. Gives you survivability, yay. Now we're going to drop a shard breaker, which is a sword. You need to go to that location, wait till it drops, then pick up the shard breaker, which is basically a massive sword that you then have to deliver to the enemy base, shove it in, and now the raid begins. Now, before that all happens, the game also teaches you what happens if you die. So you go to the shopkeeper to buy a weapon, because you can buy shields, you can buy weapon, you can buy ammo for a bazooka, which helps in destroying walls when you're doing the raid, or other walls that you find in the environment. And then they basically say, okay, so now we're just going to shoot you, instantly dead. Oh, so this is what happens when you die. So you have to respawn, and then you choose what location you want to respawn at. Awesome, cool. So now you're doing one of these raids. And the raid is essentially, here are 2 bombs that you need to destroy. You have a time limit. If you don't do it within the time limit, then the raid ends. And you've got a certain amount of lives amongst the 3 of your companions that you can attempt to take down this bomb. And if you do, game over. That's it. So then I go ahead and decide to play the game. And what instantly hit me was you have something that is very fantasy based that has this, like, there's I think in one of the Steam pages they were kind of advertising it like, oh, it's almost got that inspiration from like He-Man. And I'm like, right, so you've got a bunch of characters that you've got like a flame throwing dude, you've got this chick that's got daggers, you got a guy with a massive sword. But at the core, it's just a shooting game. And so you get these interesting abilities for these characters that you don't actually really get to use that often, because when you use it, there's a cooldown, and it's a decent cooldown. All the grenades essentially are just, well, all right, the flamethrower guy has a grenade that's like a flame colored. Maybe there's some little elemental differences. I don't know. I didn't get into the nitty gritty of it. So take this as a grain of salt. This is after 2 matches without much study. But what I found was the experience of going through a match was fucking boring. Because what you're doing is, for the first part of the match, while you're waiting for the shard bearer, so like the first thing you do is when you start, you choose, like each of you have like, I think 3 or 4 little armor things that you can then go and improve the quality of one of the walls in your base. So you essentially start kind of going, all right, what parts of near the bomb do we want to guard? So it's harder for them to essentially just breach through. So that's the first thing you do. Then the shield comes down, and the game's like, right, we're going to load the shard bearer in one of two locations, which it tells you, but it gives you a little timer. In that time, you've got enough time to go into this, big kind of world, horseback riding, to find either blue chests or red chests. The blue chests give you shields and like bits of armor, armor gear bits, and the red chests will give you different types of weapons. So you can kit yourself out with whatever kind of one of, like, you can essentially carry two weapons. So you can have a sniper and a rifle, or have a rifle and a shotgun, or a pistol and a shotgun, whatever. You go out and you find that.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the colors don't really play into effect, because the way the colors work, or the way the scaling of the weapons work, is they only go up per round. So the longer the round goes, or the longer the match goes, then it goes up. So the way it works is you'll collect whatever gear you want to essentially play that match with.
Mm-hmm.
Then the shard bearer comes, and it's essentially, you've got like a certain time limit that someone needs to deliver this shield, this sword, into the other, your opponent's base. And whoever does that, now the raid is happening at that base. So once you say, grab the sword, you get the sword to the base, you shove the sword in, you have a massive ballista type thing that just teleports in, destroys a section of the wall, and now you're raiding them. So you've got, like I said, X amount of lives amongst the three of you, and X amount of time to get to these two bombs and destroy them. So say you don't destroy anything. You've gotten to the base, you don't destroy anything. Okay, well, it's now a reset of the match. So everyone kind of gets back to where they need to be. So now we're starting round 2. And round 2 means that we're now increasing the gear. So it goes from your standard to, I think, blue. And if no one wins in round 2, then you go to round 3, where we now increase it to purple. And then I think it's, I don't know if it's 3 rounds or 4 rounds. Regardless, you do this multiple times until one or the other team wins. Now there is, I think there's some level of damage that's done over the course, so that the game is kind of calculating for who's the better team. Because there seems to be like a health pool associated with each faction throughout the whole gameplay. My problem is that when you're doing the raid, it's fun. It's quick. You're trying to figure out how to get into the base and it's essentially Counter-Strike, where you've got 2 bombs in various locations, and then you need to place a bomb, and then you need to guard it. Because if you don't, then the person, the team who's obviously guarding the base, can deactivate the bomb. Which, if they do, congratulations, they've just essentially beaten you from destroying the bomb type of thing. Or destroying the little shield thing. Because what they are, it's like 2 little things that are helping to keep the actual base alive.
Okay.
The problem with this whole process is when you're traveling through the world, and you've got all this ability to shop for things or destroy these crystals to get resources, so that you can then potentially get, say, rocket launcher ammo to blow up walls, or get a different kind of gun, which again is irrelevant because you can pretty much get most of your gear on the field. But it's not like there's anything else you're shooting. So the whole MOBA thing doesn't even exist. It's like, here's the shell of a MOBA, where there's no other enemies, there's nothing for you to actually level up and get stronger. Your characters are just, you're just playing a shooting game. There's nothing unique about them apart from maybe, like, they have specific abilities, yes, but the cooldowns take a substantial amount of time that it's almost not worth, like, you'll use it and then the rest of the time you're just shooting. or maybe throwing a grenade.
Oh.
And then you do have their special, which again takes even longer, so you might only get to use that twice in a whole match, if you're lucky. And yeah, sure, they're devastating to some degree, depending on the type of character you're playing. I mean, one of the chicks I was playing with, she had an ability to turn invisible, which, okay, yeah, you can get the jump on enemies that way. So you've got a little bit of a push and pull, but it works better when you're already in the base. And so my question is, why have you made such a large space if there's nothing to do other than just generic loot gather? So you've got all of this breadth, but it's just empty. It's just gear for the sake of gear. And because you're on horseback, you're traveling so fast through these spaces. It's just like, well, if you made this smaller, like all the other fucking live service shooters, or like MOBAs where you actually have characters with interesting personalities and interesting, mechanics behind them. You go play any hero shooter, and each of the characters will have 3 or 4 different types of abilities. Some will shoot, some will be close quarters, they will have different skills and different abilities. And this doesn't play like that. It plays like a generic shooting game with you know what it is? It's like a cookie cutter Borderlands without any of the depth.
Yep.
Without any of the leveling up. It's not like I'm leveling up my character through the process at the same time to then go, okay, I can strengthen one of my skills, or I can make it so that my cooldowns are slower or smaller, or I can improve my gun capabilities, or whatever it may be. No, it's just shallow.
Oh. It truly does sound as boring as the trailers made it out to be.
Yes. Yes. And it's just, I personally, again, I don't play a lot of these multiplayer games. I saw it, it was free. So I'm like, you know what? For the sake of the podcast and the stream today, I gave it a try. I am sure that there is some level of entertainment that a person or a group of people will have from it. But I feel like there is probably more than enough. There are better shooters out there, and then there are better hero MOBAs that exist, even on a third person or a first person perspective. I think there's better content out there for free.
Yeah.
That's been around for quite some time with just as interesting maps as this. Yes, it's got the ability to jump on a mount, but the mounts are kind of a reason to just travel long distances. You get, like, the mount gets shot once or twice, you get flung off it. So it's just like, at least if you go play Unreal Tournament, like back in the day, you had vehicles that you could jump into and travel, whether you're doing that in Battlefield, whether you're doing that in an Unreal Tournament style game, whether you're doing it in something else. There's nothing interesting about it. And I feel like if they had actually thought about developing something deeper in between the actual, hey, now we're raiding the base, that would have been interesting. And I think about, and this is why I bring up Unreal Tournament, because I remember Unreal Tournament had the assault matches where you had one team defending, one team attacking. And the idea was that you had like multiple checkpoints throughout a match. So maybe it was a train sequence, right? And you had different points of the train that once you surpassed and once you completed a certain task, you then move on to the next objective and the next objective and the next objective. And again, I've seen this mechanic done in modern games like Battlefield that function the same but better. And I feel like this is missing a component. And it's interesting when you get to the raid bit, but up until that point, it's just fluff. It's unnecessary fluff without any depth or substance. And it feels like it needs the MOBA style enemies in between so that you've got other things to shoot to make it more engaging, to make it more interesting, to then get to the raid. And you can have the little monsters on the outside while the heroes are fighting each other. Like, you can do interesting shit like that, but it's just... So,
yeah.
disappointment.
The deep dive made it look as boring as the experience that you had.
Yeah.
That's why I haven't bothered installing it.
And it's just a shame because, like, you look at, even when I was exploring the spaces, like, the movement system is really well designed. The spaces you explore are really well thought out. Like, it's really cool. And I almost feel like if they had just put the effort in to just make an actual first-person game with a story, it almost feels like it would have been more interesting. Or if they had committed to having it not be... like, I don't know. It's just... yeah. It's just disappointing. Like, you watch the trailer and it makes it seem like you use some of the abilities a lot more. But no, it's just a really well-designed trailer to entice you to go, hey, you do a bit of shooting, and then you throw something, and then you do some more shooting, and then you throw another thing. And it's like, no, you've literally just done one ability here, a melee throw here, and that's it. And you're waiting for that first ability to recharge, and your melee is kind of like a thing where, like, who cares? So there's nothing there.
How long do you think this game will be online for?
Well, based on the Steam opinions, it's mostly negative from what I've seen.
Oof.
Yeah, so when I loaded it, before I deleted it, yeah, it's mixed at the moment. So I don't know. I really don't see it lasting that long, but maybe they will add stuff later down the line. Maybe they have intentions of improving and adding more to the game to make it more interesting. Maybe this is it, and this is either people will click with it or it won't. I don't know. There are, like I said, there are far more interesting things out there to play. And I don't think this game has enough to pull people in. Even as a freemium game, there are better... most of the kids nowadays are probably going to be happy just playing some of the hero shooters that exist.
Oh, I mean, Roblox, Fortnite,
Yeah.
If you've got a console or PC, Marvel Rivals to play your favorite Marvel character.
This is my problem.
There's so many things that already exist.
I can pick up Marvel Rivals. And again, Marvel Rivals has the same mechanic where it's like you are trying to have an attacking team and a defense team. And it's just moving forward. And because it's so quick and instant, you're just in there and it's like next thing. There's no wasted time. And I feel like this
straight to the point.
Yep, and this game has so much wasted time when you're doing the preparatory shit before you then have the shard bearer come in, where you go, all right, now we start the action. And the action's kind of tense because it's who can get this sword into the other base. And then the action kind of kicks up a notch. So I get what they're trying to have that sense of building. But when you have to do that over, like, and I had a match where we did this, where it was just no one won the first round. So we started again from the beginning and we have to go out into the field and get all our gear and get all our loot and then do the same process. No one wins the second time. So we do the same thing. We go out and get the better gear and then, prepare ourselves. It's just, I find it more interesting looking for opponents in a large-scale match of Battlefield, because at least I know that I don't, like, at any point I could get my headshot off and then completely be dead. Or like even in a what are they called? The battle royales, where you get flung into the middle of the map and you might not have any action for 20, 30 minutes before you finally are dealing with someone. But it's the tension of that that's more interesting, as opposed to, well, this feels like it's meant to be quick, but instead they kind of prolong and try and build this suspense until now it kicks off, and it's just seems unnecessary. So yeah, I really don't see this lasting too long. I mean, considering the last multiplayer game that came out that was supposed to also be a live service. Yeah, Concord. And that didn't do too well. And that, honestly, that felt like that had more interesting gameplay mechanics than this. But who knows?
I'm not going to waste my time.
No. And I don't blame you. What is interesting, there's actually 2 games. I watched the trailer for Wheelmates. I don't know if you've seen this one.
Wheelmates?
Mm-hmm.
No.
This is a co-op driving game that's almost in the vein of like an It Takes Two.
Sorry, I'm also installing a game. Oops.
Hold on. Oh, no,
Need to lower my megabits. Oh, fuck, my RuneScape.
Yeah. So, yeah, you essentially play as remote control cars in like a proper life-size house, and you're going around doing flips, collecting, I'm assuming, some sort of keys that unlock doors and and solve puzzles and whatnot. Oh, magnet wheels.
This is
okay,
right up our. This is right up our alley.
Are you watching it on my stream?
Oh yeah. I've pulled up your stream.
Yeah. So this one's an interesting one to look forward to.
Yeah, I'm already sold.
Coming sometime this year. So that seems fun for anyone who wants a co-op game and likes driving. I think that'll be a fun one. Wheelmates. I didn't know about this one. Have you played Hunt? Oh, don't. This one? No. I don't know if you played
action.
Yes.
They're making a movie?
No, I don't think that's...
Oh,
okay. I think this is their original trailer kind of material. StreetRat is referring to my video footage of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2.
Yeah.
No, so the other one was Hunt Down. I don't know if you played the last Hunt Down.
Hunt Showdown or Hunt Down? What
Down,
the fuck is Hunt Down?
So it's the same team. They're making a new game. This is the side-scroller arcade style game where in the original you played as, you could choose one of 3 characters, kind of in the vein of like the old 80s, 90s action flicks of your Arnold Schwarzenegger and whatnot.
Slug. What's Slug? Fuck, what's that game?
But they're bringing out a prequel to it. I'm assuming it's the same developers, but instead of it being 3 characters, you only play as one of them, as far as what we know, and they are making it a roguelite.
Of course they are.
Well, I thought that was actually kind of cool, because I didn't even think that is something that they wanted to explore. So the same premise, you obviously have variations on kind of the map, but the big pull for this is the type of gear that you can potentially get and the way your upgrade system kind of helps improve your character through every run. and then the variations on the bosses that you fight at the end, which all have very unique ways of you needing to kill them and defeat them and whatnot. So very much that Contra style side scroller action game. You've got close quarter melee and long distance. I believe this game also has co-op like the original, so that is something to also consider if you want to play it with a friend. It seems like it'll
I was
allow for
thinking
that.
Metal Slug. That's the game I was thinking.
Yes,
Yep.
yes, similar in that vein as well.
This looks good.
I know you're not the biggest side
It's
scroller
just-
fan. So
I'm not, but I'm not going to deny that it doesn't look fun. Their first game went well. I think I played the demo of it.
Yeah. And it's a fun game. Like, I gotta admit, they did a really cool job with the the levels were very basic, but it was the bosses and the ambiance of the world was really cool. It's what made it interesting. So that, again, that 70s to 90s aesthetic. Yeah. So that's a fun one. The last one is the recent gameplay featurette for Crimson Desert, because obviously that's gone gold.
Oh, it looks so good.
Now, you're excited about it, I gather.
I am.
Have you watched the
Because-
whole featurette?
Yes.
Cool. So,
The one that goes for like 20 minutes?
was it 20? I thought it was like
Something.
15 or anyway. It was a decent length. They showed a good
Yep.
amount of gameplay. What were
And
your
it wasn't even the
thoughts?
full thing. They didn't
Well-
even go into combat. They didn't even go into the magic system. So
Mhm.
I'm intrigued. But it looks very interesting in almost the Ubisoft approach, but using almost the Nemesis system, which I wish was used, but clearing out factions and the impact of the world that you explore had an impact on how you interact. And I'm intrigued. I think it looks quite exciting. I
Yep.
love the idea of having magic or playing as a battle mage. I love that. I'm watching the trailer again on your screen.
Yep. That's why I put it up.
I'm just worried that it might have some moments of dullness because of how grand the world is.
Yep.
Sometimes a game doesn't need to be big. But I'm excited. The videos that they've shown before this trailer looked good. The one of the characters has a magic ability where they can swing their weapon and any projectiles get picked up and get thrown back. That's fucking sick. You can earthbend up and do a triple jump.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Like, give me cool shit to do. We're in the era where games can be made more fun. You can start doing more of this stuff. And I'm more appreciative of this style of gaming. I'm looking forward to it. I'm excited to see what the next trailer drop is because it's going to be focusing more on the encounters, more of the combat.
Yeah.
So I want to see more of that because we got a taste of it in this video.
Yeah.
So it's on my list. It's definitely something I'm keeping an eye out on. But what are your thoughts?
So I think I'm very similar, and probably more so in the space of I'm worried that there is going to be a samey flow to the gameplay. Well, says Sixer, jumping in.
Well.
So my concern with this game is I feel like
Good morning, Sixer.
though it's though it feels more original than what this company typically does with this franchise, I cannot help but feel like it's going to end up being like an Assassin's Creed. In that your questing will literally just be go here, collect this, or go here and clear out encampment, or go here and defeat these baddies. And that's it. So my concern is it feels like a grand world, but how much of it can you actually interact with? And there are moments that I feel that the developers are almost potentially maybe showing us things that seem like this is like our GTA, or this is like our Zelda, where there might be more deeper mechanics or deeper systems at play that allow you to interact with the world in interesting ways. But so far, there is a concern that it is just going to be a very cookie cutter action game with maybe an interesting story, maybe an interesting world to explore. But yeah, being the size that it is it going to be fun for the whole duration? I don't know.
See, I wouldn't mind if a game has cookie cutter feels to it. I mean, let's look at Clair Obscur.
Mhm.
It's a turn-based game.
Correct.
I could just play Final Fantasy X.
Yep.
And get a very similar experience.
Mm.
And
to some degree,
correct. It doesn't have the real-time reaction in battles.
Yes. No, but you're still playing an RPG.
Correct. But it plays it very safe. Very safe. What I think is fine is having that style of game. Assassin's Creed can be so fucking interesting if Ubisoft pulled their hands out of their boards assholes and would make a decent game. Assassin's Creed got really good, and then it became, well, we need to print more money, so let's keep printing. And it just became really dull. But it was great at one point.
Yep.
We've all experienced it. 2, Brotherhood, Black Flag, 3 even. There was great moments. Origins had aspects of fun exploration. I remember going in the pyramid and fucking pulling out the torch. And I'm like, holy shit, am I Lara Croft right now? It was so cool. I don't mind cookie cutter if it is respectful and not samey all the time. Like it just echoes itself constantly. Give me a Metroidvania open fucking world where you'll start and you start building up your skills in each character, and then a part of the world starts to open up because now you can explore that area. Fuck it, going to the Crimson Desert, you can only go there if you've got a particular item which allows you to withstand the heat. Going to the snow, you need to withstand the snow or the cold with heat. So you need a particular either spell or a clothing item. Who fucking knows? but it would be cool to have those
Yep.
similar to Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom.
Yep.
If combat is arcadey and simple, fine, so be it.
Yep.
I don't want every game to go, well, we know how popular Soulsborne games are. Yeah, that's fine. But you know how much of a risk it is to take? You've just cut out so many people from accomplishing your game because you've intentionally made it difficult for the sake of being difficult. I don't mind if this has safety precautions of cookie cutter combat. And again, we're talking pre-deep dive of the combat video.
Correct.
But if you've got your light attack, heavy attack, fuck it, Darksiders. Perfect example. Light, heavy, special moves, parry, block, dodge. That's all I need. That's perfect. And then you complement the fighting combat with your skills, your magic, your flurries of, oh, look how pretty things can be. Perfect. Distract my eyes with something and make me think that it looks cooler than what I'm actually doing. Fine. So be it. But it could be very different. There's always a risk.
Look, I will say, I mean, even if I am comparing it to an Assassin's Creed, like the one thing Assassin's Creed has going for it is typically you've got the action side, especially now with the way the games are designed, you got the action side and then you've got the stealth side. I feel like the action in this game has the potential to be better overall because you're not just fighting regular bosses, you've got different types of enemies. So it's not just here's another samurai or here's another guy with a shield and a sword. It's here's a different type of sword shield guy, or here's a magician, or here's a beast, or here's this monster. So there's almost like this freaking ent with a massive house on it. And then you've got the climbing ability, which again, there's the and this is kind of the Zelda-esque experience of it, where you do have the verticality, the exploration, there's caverns and things that you can go into and find, and little secrets, nooks and crannies. So I'm getting kind of a nice mix between a Zelda and an Assassin's Creed in some aspects. What depth that goes into, what the scale is, I don't know. That's obviously yet to be determined and seen. I'm just concerned that when I then go back to a massive city and a town, I'm just walking through the city and town, and I can't really do anything with the people there. They're dead NPCs. And this is my issue with a lot of what Ubisoft makes. Because unlike a GTA, or even with what I'm playing now, Kingdom Come Deliverance, or and this is what some people sometimes forget about, those extra layers of interactivity in even a quote-unquote safe space is just as fun and rewarding as what you can do when you're out fighting the bad guys in the field. So, and Fable gets this. It gives you all of these tools to really fuck with the people in the town. Skyrim does this as well. Or Starfield, if you want a sci-fi example. Kingdom Come Deliverance has this. And then you get something like an Assassin's Creed, where it's just, yep, you have this space, people exist here, but you can't really do anything with them. You can't steal stuff from them. You can't interact. You can't play with them in any way.
Don't you remember? If you fuck with any people, you desynchronize and get game over.
Yeah, because it's
punishment for trying anything.
So that's the aspect of the large open scale world that I'm concerned about. I'm not concerned about the mystery of the world. Like, all the stuff in the sky, I'm looking at it going, yeah, this has that Breath of the Wild level of, not Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom
Yeah.
level of exploration.
Mm-hmm.
On top of the fact that you have flying mounts, which look like you can traverse long distances much quicker, based on what I'm seeing.
And that's another selling point for me. Allow me to fucking fly. If you've got a huge world, like, let's think back. GTA, San Andreas.
Mm-hmm.
When they improved the flying controls, oh my God, flying a jet from San Fierro to Los Santos and then going, you know what? Let's go to, oh fuck, what was Las Vegas called? Whatever it was.
Yeah.
But you could just fly and just go, oh, do I want to fly to the top of the mountain? Sure. It's so nice when you have a playground.
Yeah.
For me, I know it's a small thing and not everyone wants it, but I love flying in a game because I can't do it in real life.
Yeah.
I can't just get up or just hop on a plane. Like, that shit is expensive. I'm not a pilot. And I just can't fly anywhere. So in a game, in a massive world where it looks like you've got a dragon and maybe the Shroud glide has a bit of a flying feel. I mean, you could, but it's illegal. I mean, yeah, we don't want a repeat of 2001 September. Anyways, I wouldn't. No, I'm not. Sure.
You had to bring it up. You just had to.
I did. I think it's really fun. Even Hogwarts Legacy did it, and it was so much fun just to fly. Like, it served no purpose. Sure, there was like the Quidditch time trial match that you had to fly through the rings. Cool. But other than that, you could just fly. And it's awesome.
So,
and I really like that this game has an actual way of, well, this game is going to be big, not just horizontally, vertically. So I like that they've given the option of, at some point in the game, you will be able to fly. I love that shit. Love. Sorry.
No, I'm kind of, I think in my head, I'm coming to grips with accepting what this game is actually going to be. And I think I know that it is going to be that, like I said, that Assassin's Creed-esque experience. It's obvious, like I said, based on everything I'm seeing, it looks like a much better game. But to be fair, you can't base or compare it because one's being more historically accurate versus this being actually fantasy.
Yeah.
So you have, I mean, they've got steampunk robots in this, which is, how do you compete? You don't. Like, this game has a level of creative freedom that Assassin's Creed is never going to be able to have. And the closest that Ubisoft could have to that is bringing out either their Beyond Good and Evil franchise, if they decide to make that one day, or realistically, it'd be their, what is that Monsters game that they released?
Monsters game?
Yeah, Immortals, Phoenix Rising.
No, that series is dead.
It is, but that would be the equivalent where it's, hey, here's puzzles and here are monsters that you get to fight, and it's an action game which almost functions like a Zelda, and we can have open zones and areas that you have townspeople and blah, 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 blah. So, and you mentioning Hogwarts, I think just iterated in my head and has brought some level of acceptance of, yep, I think that some people probably are just happy with, you go into these fancy towns and these really cool large areas where you just go and you collect your quest and then maybe go to the shopkeep, buy some stuff, Maybe there's some mini games in there, cool, whatever. But then you go back into the open world and you just fight shit. And that's fine. And then it just becomes like very much like a Hogwarts Legacy type of experience or a Just Cause game where the action and the gameplay is when you're out in the field exploring, and then when you're in towns, it's just a town. There's nothing to do there apart from gear up for the next combat encounter. I think just for me, it's lacking the depth and the substance that when you're making these large scale open worlds, I kind of want a little bit more. I think it's my suspension of disbelief is finding it harder and harder to go into these open worlds now and feel like, why can't I do more in this space? I get that this is where I come to collect my quests, and this is where I come to maybe buy some gear, but why is there nothing else for me to do here? Why can't I mess with the people? This is one of the issues I had with even Star Wars Outlaws, where you'd go into a town and you literally there'd be no combat scenarios. It's not like you could suddenly have fights in the middle of the saloon and have the stormtroopers get involved. Like they're an authority in that set piece, yet they only exist as an actual threatening authority when you're out in the field. Otherwise, when you're in town, it's like there's nothing. You're just
there's not like a police system.
Not really, no. Not until you're out in the field or you're flying around in space.
Oh.
Yeah, that's the only time you get the warning where now you're being chased. But otherwise, when you're in town, and this is the thing, this is the other problem. When you do piss off and the police system kicks in, you basically just have to hide around in the field somewhere because you can't even go to town. Because if you go to town, well, now they're going to capture you. But it's not like you can go into the town and do anything and interact or have... This is my problem. When you've got video games like GTA that exist that allow you to play, that you have this organic system that you can fuck around with the NPCs, even on some basic level, it makes it far more interesting to engage with. And so when you do fuck up, it's rewarding because it's like reinforcing, hey, you either need to be super powerful and super prepared to deal with the consequences, or you're going to get curb stomped. And it makes it more rewarding when you do get to a level where you can kind of go, okay, now I can, run rings around the authorities because I've either got the strength and the ability, or I've got the prowess, or I've got the tactical mindset to approach this conflict and fuck with them. They have the technology to actually do all that, to be able to interact with everything. We'll see how GTA will handle it. And I think after that, it will kick off a whole bunch of games that will do that. I don't know if you can, but you're still in BG3. If you want to do just chatting or podcast section. Okay, cool. Thank you. Not too concerned about that. But yeah, it's... My problem with your thought process, Sixer, is if developers wanted that, they would have done that years ago. And yet they seem insistent to not, because for some reason they don't want to take the extra step to add those levels of programming and those levels of complexity. And I know why, because it starts to create other problems for a developer that they now need to account for when players are making certain decisions. And
let's also take into account that how long has it been since we've got a Rockstar game?
Yep.
Their games are not short development cycles.
No.
They're long.
No, correct.
And they know that they can afford such a long development life cycle because they will make that money within a day. Their sales will get that.
Yep.
But Ubisoft is so short-sighted with money that they need such short development times to make sure that their product goes out so that they're working on the next one and making sure that they monetize their game. They won't spend enough time. I think the longest time that they've made a game would be Beyond Good and Evil 2, because the scope of that game is fucking insane.
Well, you'd hope so, for considering they've been spending over, 14 years or 12 years working on that fucking thing. You'd hope that they have a massive
2007?
scope of... Yeah, something like that. You'd hope that they'd have a massive scope of concepts and ideas in that.
That is a fact, right? Ubisoft had just gone so downhill, and it's so disappointing because so many childhood games growing up were from Ubisoft, and that magic, that charm, Rayman, fucking awesome. Rayman 2 was so pivotal in my gaming experience, especially on PC. And now looking at Ubisoft, it's just, well, we've got to fork out all this content, games, and we want money, and there's no charm.
Yeah.
Like, Assassin's Creed is no longer an interesting IP. It is so boring. There's nothing that I will get from that series anymore that I'm willing to spend the time in. I don't want to spend over 100 hours looking through a map with thousands of icons and so many things to collect and desynchronizing because I just wanted to fuck around. And no.
So, okay, let's look at it from this perspective, because you're right that GTA games typically are long dev cycles, and they now have 3 or 4 teams across North America, London, and other, I think San Diego. So there's a handful of these teams that they've essentially just put together in order to make these large scale open world games. I mean, you look at Red Dead Redemption 2 was the last example. The one thing that I think they spend a lot of time, not just from the story and the world building perspective, but also the minute decisions that you make as a player, so that any potential, as far as what they can think of, any potential variation is being covered in an organic way, which is quite impressive. I think the one example I've got that I saw recently of someone breaking down, there's a bounty that you can collect, and you find the bounty guy, and it's essentially he's saying goodbye to his son and his wife, and then you take him, and so you have a choice where you're essentially just watching him hang. And you can sit there and watch him get hung, and that's it, and then walk away and continue doing your own thing. Or you can shoot all the people and then shoot the rope so that he doesn't hang, and then he runs off. And they obviously had to sit there and do the recordings and make sure that the programming and everything was capable of handling all of that, right? Now, you don't even have to go to that level of depth. You can, and that obviously, all that extra work and all those variations and all those what if, like what Baldur's Gate has done, pays off, where even though 2 or 5% of players are going to see it, it's so rewarding and so enriching. And this is why, some of our streamers are like, oh, this is your first playthrough. Well, I'm on my 5th or 6th, because this is how often I'm playing it, because I want to see every variation. I want to go through as a different class. I want to go through and do this. Okay, that's fine. Different styles of games, different strokes for different folks. The problem is that a company like Ubisoft took the wrong approach and wrong lessons from making open world games. And they went, well, we can just make bigger and just give you a loop, not taking into consideration that what makes these open world games so interesting is not just the loop. Because if the loop was so fucking interesting, then Just Cause 3 would be a renowned best-selling game year after year after year. They're fun games, they're good, they're entertaining, but the loop gets boring because once you've gone and blown up a set of buildings and a set of vehicles, and you've done that 20 times, there's nothing left. There's a reason why Elden Ring as an open world game is interesting. And I've said this before. There isn't many systems to it. But they know that their strength comes from making interesting encounters so that every time you go into a new location, there's bound to be a new encounter. That's something that's refreshing to the brain. Ubisoft forgot this and just went, if we just kind of incrementally change things. No, but you haven't actually. You've just made a slightly bigger castle with a few extra guards and maybe added one new type of enemy. Mm-hmm. That's it. And you made me do this 20 times across a massive map, and then I'm fighting the same fucking enemies in the same locations. Oh, and here's a bunch. Instead of feathers, you're now collecting this resource or gold or something else. But the world itself is dead. You can't do anything with it.
It's boring.
Yeah, well, it becomes boring. And for some people, and this is the thing, right? I also recognize that for some people, that's perfectly fine. That's probably all people want. I just want a lot of content of a really cool action game. And case in point, Dynasty Warrior is essentially you just pressing one of 4 buttons and just running around killing lots of enemies. There's nothing special about it. I mean, you break it down even more. You go play any shooter, and it's literally pick gun, shoot guy. Or gal.
Yeah.
So, I get that there is a level of simplicity that people are happy with. And I can also acknowledge that seeing this game, there is more to the kind of... And again, like right now, he's fishing. So, okay, like I said, there are mini games.
But the way he learns about fishing is fucking interesting. It's not something as generic as, oh, listen to this, old tailor. You're going to learn how to fish. No, you fucking eavesdrop and shit. This has a far more interesting approach in its uniqueness in how it wants to do its storytelling.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to this. Looking at it, I'm getting excited even more.
Yeah. It looks like there's a fun world to explore here. And you know what it is? I feel like I've seen a lot of it, but I also feel like I haven't seen anything that's kind of made me go, oh, that was unexpected. I wasn't expecting that. It's just so far it seems like, yep, tick, 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 tick. You've got all these generic stuff, but there hasn't been anything that's really sparked a level of, if I go out into the open world, am I actually going to find something unique? Am I actually going to find something interesting? Or is it going to be, once I've seen the first 5 hours, it's going to be the same repeated with minor tweaks and variations? And it might surprise me.
That's the issue. Do you want to see it in a trailer or do you want to see it yourself?
And this is the problem. I don't know how much the developers have shown off. Have they shown off everything? Are they hiding stuff so that there is secrets left on the table for us to discover? We'll find out. So, yeah,
I feel like a game of this caliber would have to have things that they're not going to show because of its grandeur in design, there has to be stuff that they're absolutely leaving out, because if for whatever reason there was, I mean, I think the dragon itself, I think that spoiled that surprise
Yeah, I
when I
know.
do play the game. I wish they didn't show that. I would
I
rather
agree.
them just go, here you can glide.
I
Okay,
agree.
that's cool. But showing me the dragon going, well, you can fly now. And it's like, fuck, that would have
Yeah,
been
I
cool
know.
having that moment personally.
Hell, even the robot was probably too much, because for me, it was a
Right.
case of, man, I wish I didn't know, because that's a fun little thing that, hey, I can unlock that. Even finding out that there are 3 characters that you can play with, I'm like, don't, like, just shut up. Because this is my concern. And a lot of developers do this, where they feel the need to show everything that the game has so that there's no assumptions made. And I'm at fault. I've done this. We've both done this together, where we've looked at trailers for even GTA and gone, well, I see this and I see that, so therefore we're going to be able to do this activity and this activity. And then you play the game and those activities don't exist. They're just a bunch of NPCs doing that thing, but you cannot interact because, of course, they didn't have time or the resources to develop those animations and turn that into a mechanic. So it's easy for anyone to speculate. Like I'm looking at this town and I go, this is again, and it's one of those concerns. It's a pretty town. There's a lot of NPCs. Can I do anything with them? Can I knock into them? Does it matter? For me, maybe it does a little bit, but in the grand scheme of things, if people are happy and they feel like they're invested in the world and the suspension of disbelief exists, where, yep, I can just peruse through this town like I would in any other MMO, RPG, or whatever it may be, to then go out and actually do the action outside. Because that's how the rules are set, and that's perfectly fine.
Yeah. I'm okay if the world isn't as
Responsive to you.
Yeah, in the sense of I don't want 1,000 NPCs being individual characters. I'm okay with that.
Yeah, I know. That's a
There's
tricky one
so
to balance, even
many
nowadays.
fucking games. If every game ended up having so many of the same designs, I'm going to get so fucking fatigued that I'm just not going to play any of these games and just play Stardew Valley, Hytale, fucking
RAM storage will
RuneScape.
be out the window. Yes, you are absolutely right, Sixer.
Oh my god, you're not wrong. I hope my PC can play this.
So
I will, just at a very low setting.
Yeah. You know what? I will say, my assumption is this is being played. I would like to think it's a base PS5, but it seems like it's maybe the Pro, just on how everything looks from a lighting and detail perspective. So the fact that this plays on a PS5 is really fucking impressive, because there is a lot of detail and a lot of world that they're rendering. And even just some of, like, when you see some of the bigger scale areas, this is one of the weird things when I'm playing Kingdom Come Deliverance, is when you're traveling on horseback, you can see some of the LODs load, like all the things in the distance. And the game's running on a cry engine, so you'd think that it would actually be a little bit better, but no, I forget that it's an older, archaic kind of system. It doesn't have the same rendering capabilities and the same ways of handling all those textures, which, you know, in a large scale game, open world game, it's always hard, especially when you're traveling fast. So, no, I gotta admit, they're doing an interesting job. They're doing a pretty decent job with this game.
I might say something that's quite blasphemous,
Oh, please do.
but there's parts of this trailer that made me think of Arthur and the camp in Red Dead Redemption 2. That community side of things. And I'm very intrigued if there will be that similar sense of having those
Camaraderie.
characters in camp and being very altruistic with, well, do you want to build relationships with your camp to help increase it? I just get that idea, and I might be making too much of a hype because I am looking forward to this game.
Yep.
Regardless of, sure, it's huge. I'm still looking forward to it because we're actually getting footage. I feel that they're being quite transparent with their marketing. Blasphemy. I know I've compared this game that's unreleased to Red Dead Redemption 2, which I should give another try because I really didn't like Red Dead Redemption 2.
Really?
I should give it another try.
How far did you get?
I
I mean, I get it. If you don't like it, you don't like it. There would be many reasons why you might not click with that game.
I enjoyed 1. Red Dead 1 was really fun. And I think because it didn't have so many mechanics upon mechanics with a living, breathing world.
Yep.
It was a lot more basic.
Yep.
So I guess that's why I enjoyed 1. And 2, I just feel like, fuck, if I do anything, people will fucking know. Which is a great thing. But I have a lot of anxiety when it comes to people, even if it is AI NPCs.
See, and you would hate, this is the one thing that, like, I love talking about Kingdom Come Deliverance because mechanically, and as the first game, because I haven't played the second one's got even more of that. But it's those little interactions or those opportunities for me to fuck up or get caught that adds to that extra layer of what if. And of course you can save and like use the save scumming capabilities and kind of reset yourself, which, you know, is fine.
No, of course,
But,
of course.
I mean, I found it really entertaining when I happened to piss someone off, one of the lords in the area, and then he sent me to prison. And I didn't reload. I just let it happen and dealt with the consequences, which was like a small little status debuff type thing. And it's like, okay, now I just got to deal with this small little inconsequential thing. And one of the characters is telling me off for it. But it's not like it's a massive punishment unless you do it too many times where the game now goes, now we're going to slap you on the wrist and now we're going to really kind of give you a game over type of thing. Or we're going to really make it hard for you, which is fine. Like as long as there are ways that you can reverse those systems in a fun and interesting way, I have no issues with it being like, I mean, it's like what Fable's, you know, playing with where, or even the older Fable games where, yeah, you can be a bad guy and steal from people, or you can just keep donating money and, you know, get good brownie points. There are fun ways to play with the systems, and because it's a game, it's meant to be entertaining. It's sometimes you do break a bit of that suspension of disbelief for the entertainment aspect. You know? So, yeah, I think I am like you. I would like some of that friendship systems to exist in this. I don't think this game's going to go that far, but we won't know until.
I think they've kind of hinted
March?
to it.
Maybe they have.
Yes, March 16th.
Yeah,
I think
that sounds about right.
But there will be a conversation about this at some point. But I do want to talk about Tomb Raider, which is happening every stream now. But I want to save that for a bit later. Final Fantasy VII has been released on the Switch too.
Yes, I actually learned an interesting tad bit of information for the new one that they're
3
working on. Yes.
Reunion.
Yes.
I don't know if it's called Reunion, but I hope
He's
it
got
is.
a name. He's confirmed the name, but he hasn't said what
Yeah.
it is yet.
It can't be Reunion because that's what Crisis Core is called. But it should be called Reunion.
That's fair.
It should.
No,
be,
I didn't know that these games were made on Unreal Engine 4.
Correct.
And he's continuing
To use 4.
Yeah, for the third
Mhm.
game. So that's commitment.
That's good.
Yeah.
Because 5 has a lot of issues. So I would much rather them stay consistent.
It wasn't
and they
even
know what they're working with.
Well, it's more the fact that they have implemented things because they've obviously adjusted the code for themselves for certain features to work the way they need it to. So to then have to go out of their way to make that, redo all that coding and all that programming onto 5, they just went, it's not worth it. We're happy with what 4 is doing for us. We're just going to stick with it because our team knows how to use it. Our team knows how to operate it. We've already adjusted the code the way we want it and the way we like it. So we'll just finish off this saga and the series with 4. And honestly, I think that's really gutsy of a developer to just stick with it on 2 fronts. One, you're saving yourself time. Well done for making a really smart executive call, and you're not just thinking about, graphics for the sake of graphics. 2, what was I going to say? Fuck, my brain just went blank. Nah, fuck, it just left me. God damn it. Jesus Christ. But no, it's really cool to see a commitment to using an older engine like that. Like,
it's almost the mentality of
that's what it was.
FromSoft.
That's what I was going to say.
Go. Your thought.
It's the consistency. By having the same engine, by having the same art style, you're not changing the consistency where you kind of go, I can tell that the third game is newer than the first game. Is like the visual language kind of stays consistent. Well, depending on how they play with the artwork and how much resource power they've got to play with.
Everyone got a glow up in Rebirth. I can tell you that for a
fact. I'm sure.
They look hot. Everyone's so fucking hot in Rebirth, and it's like, why?
Well, they had more time on the animations, right? So,
so many
detail.
But I'm very excited for. I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, but I'm very excited for a special character that starts with V in the third game because he is so fucking cool.
Yeah, I love him. And they'll probably make him playable now, Vincent. Yeah. I mean,
well, he will be
by
playable.
this point.
Well, yes.
And
he's been around since 1996,
and he's got his own
really
fucking game. No, it's really not a spoiler anymore. Like, there is a vampire secret character of Cerberus.
Wait, what?
Yeah, I know.
But I won't go into his lore because his lore is actually insane.
He is the father of Sephiroth.
What?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Dude, you have to say spoilers at the start.
Nah.
I'm joking. Again, this game came out in 1996. If you want to know, fucking play it. The original is so fucking good. It stands now. It stands the test of time. Same as Chrono Trigger.
Okay.
Fuck, if I could play Chrono Trigger on the DS again, I would.
You know,
I might.
I was thinking about this specific thought process of when is it the right time to just not care about spoilers? And the fact that some people just go, well, it's been 10 years. What does it matter? It's been 2 years or it's been however many years. Okay. Yet, as a society, except for maybe a very small handful of fucking retards, but I honestly haven't heard anyone talk about it, no one still fucking talks about Fight Club. So clearly,
Yeah. Because the number one rule of Fight Club is you don't talk about Fight Club.
I know, but I just find it funny that as a society, we have just injected that mindset about that film and like tattooed it Brad Pitt style into the back of our brains as, no, you don't talk about Fight Club. Like, it's just, no one spoils it. And I think it's brilliant. And I think we should have that with more titles, with more games. But people are just flippant about, oh, but it's no, the game existed like 20 years ago. If you haven't played it, your fault. Yeah, but what about the people that have just been born that are not going to be able to play this game or even consider finding out about it for another 15 years or 20 years or 30 years or whatever it may be?
There's certain my rule about spoilers, and it talks more it's more in regards to one-on-one or in conversation where you establish the rule of spoilers. I, for one, am very careful with One Piece spoilers when I'm talking to my friend who's currently going through it. Mind you, she's very early on, so it's really hard for me to say things because
you don't want to ruin it.
Like, there's one character, she's like, oh, I just met Miss Sunday, and I was like, oh my god, she's the best, I love her, I can't wait. And she's like, don't say anymore. And I'm like, oh, I can't, but she's fucking awesome. Because, spoiler alert, Miss Sunday then becomes Nico Robin, and she becomes part of the fucking crew, and she's a fucking devil child, and she's the best, but I can't say anything. I have to be careful of that shit. Because the whole point of that is One Piece is all about your self-journey in the show and discovering these things. There was a huge moment in the show that I had no fucking idea about. And when I was talking to my friend at work about it, she's like, I can't believe you didn't know that was a thing. That happened 10 years ago and you didn't know. And I'm like, I had no fucking idea. I cried.
You're not reading about it. You're not chasing up the what happened in the wikis and trying to figure out, all right, who did what and how did this all play out. And
as I watch an anime and I fall in love with it, I do want to respect the anime by my background on my phone at the moment is artwork, a manga screenshot of Nico Robin with her awakened devil fruit power of the devil child.
Yep.
And it's from the manga. If I had searched that while I was watching One Piece, I would have just spoiled and gone, fuck. It's so hard. During Dragon Ball, I didn't really give a shit. Like, I searched it. Okay, this is a terrible segue. So when I watched Dragon Ball, I also was getting photos and kind of ruining things about what was going to happen, but I didn't give a shit about spoilers. But I respect those who don't want to know. It's establishing that rule. So I agree with you in the sense of if you're going out and searching for it, then you will get spoiled.
Correct.
If I'm searching, Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth. Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah.
Wow.
Here's a wiki and description of everything about this character, who he is, how he's related to the universe, what is his impact, all of that. Yeah. It's always tricky because you do get some just complete narcissists and assholes that really aren't considerate. I get it if it happens accidentally, or you're just talking about it in passing because it's just a fun thing. But
don't be a fucking arrogant cunt about it.
Yeah.
Like, seriously, I get it. Wow. You watched it before I did, or you played it before I did.
Oh, you didn't know? Oh, but what you don't know is so and so and blah, blah. And it's like, you just...
oh, but I'm not up to that. Oh, well, you should
Yeah.
have been. And it's like,
Yeah.
well, my time is different from your time. It's not the same. But
Also,
my
yeah,
mm.
there are
But I
some
wanted to
people that have a level of elitism. Sorry to interrupt you. A level of elitism.
No,
That they
you're
just
fine.
assume that because they've been on the bandwagon for so long that, well, if you didn't know, then you're a fucking idiot. Like, you should have picked it up years ago. It's like when the next when GTA finally drops, everyone wants to be talking about it. How have you not finished that ending? Clearly, we need to spoil it for you so you can get off your ass and play it. It's like, how about just don't be a
What
dick?
are the characters' names? Oh, yeah. Lucia becomes the head of the mafia group in GTA 6. And oh my God, she kills her boyfriend. And oh my God, as if you didn't know. Dude, the game was out for 5 minutes. I get it. You're a streamer. You have the time. You have a full-time job of streaming. So you played the whole fucking game in 5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, awesome. Well done. Not
That's
all
my
of us have
training
that
when
life.
he found out I never played Red Dead 2.
Oh, fucking hell.
It's like, dude, chill.
It's
Dude,
enjoy your can I just want to say
go on.
Stardew Valley community, the Stardew Valley community is so fucking awesome because I used the wiki as help, but it helps with spoilers, and it's so good because it's like, okay, do this in a non-descriptive way so then you can do other things. And the community, they don't tell you shit. They kind of just lead you on.
Yeah.
It was a 45-minute conversation of him reacting like I told him I'm a 40-year-old virgin. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so Kingdom Come Deliverance has one of these interesting, really cool spoilers, and unfortunately, just due to me searching something else, I happened to fall upon that spoiler, and I was so annoyed that I found out. I'm like, man, that actually would have been such a cool reveal because I didn't even consider that as a possibility, and it makes sense, and it's actually really clever. Fuck. Never mind. Moving on. And now that I know it, when I see other videos play in certain aspects from like the sequel, I go, I already have the reference point for this. I know what they're referring to because that's all been revealed. So yeah, it does sometimes sour when you find out about something like that. It kind of sours that surprise, that opportunity for you to go, wait, what? No, that was there the whole time. And it's just fun. And especially as an adult, there is something really enjoyable that as you get older, you don't have. This is for all the young people listening. When you're young and things happen
Young
to you,
whippersnappers.
well, it's just life is fresh. I'm watching this through my kid's eyes. That when she watches something or tries something for the first time, there's that thrill of, oh my God, I haven't experienced this before. I didn't know that's what that was for. There's those moments where the brain goes, click, I get it, and the cogs are working. And that is rewarding as a human being when something makes sense and you have those aha moments. It's fucking fun. And to take that away from a human being, even someone who gets older and older, that's just cruel. Because even an old person, if they choose to learn and the cogs go ding, it is fucking gold.
100%.
So cherish those moments and allow people, like if you came to a certain realization and you look back and you go, well, I saw that happening from a mile away. Well, of course you did, because in your head, you're already used to this formula. So you can easily deduct and go A plus B equals C. But for someone else, let them go through the journey. Let them come to that discovery. And if they enjoy this style of content, they'll watch it again, and then they'll start to pick up the patterns. And then they can be like you, analyzing every single aspect of the sequence of events that follow to then for them to suddenly turn around and go through the same realization and go, that's what that is.
Yeah,
And then
take
it's
notes, children. Not our fault. Y'all were bored recently and missed everything. Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah.
But it's so
Those
true.
poor young people.
We have one life.
Yeah.
That's it. Every moment we have
What are you talking
is
about?
either
I'm a
the
cat. I got 9. I only used up 3. I'm an old cat. It's really prolonged and just like farting it out.
Oh my god.
But yes, we've got one life.
There's moments, there's magic. Magic is very real. Very, very real. And that might be in the form of entertainment, a movie, it might be a TV series, it might be a video game, it might be an experience you have in real life, day to day. You might go on a side quest. And side quests can actually happen. They're insane when they do, because it's like, fuck, I've just leveled up. Like, my life is so cool. It's so amazing.
Oh god.
Oh, yeah.
No, I was just gonna say my wife was a side quest that turned into
My
a main
wife.
quest. Because it was literally it was like, oh, well, this is the thing. It's my main quest to go out with my mate to the specific event. And then, oh, here's a random woman. And we start chatting and we start getting to know each other. All right, well, that's going to turn into a side quest. And all of a sudden, that's now become the main quest. And your best friend is now become the non-existent side quest. That's no longer important. That was back in game 1. Bye-bye.
And if it weren't for me leaving your friend, you wouldn't have met your wife.
That's just it. So, yeah, there are, like you said, there's magic everywhere. It can happen
It
without,
really is.
as long as you're open to it and attentive to it, it can happen anywhere at any time.
Yes.
Just like a head job, it can happen at
My
any
wife
point
started
in
like a side quest and it became the main storyline. Right. It's awesome. I love. And going back to spoilers, when there's something so magical, what is something that okay, I'm going to use this as an example. WandaVision.
Oh, Sixer.
And now I'm in a filler episode because she's at work. Oh.
You're the background character.
But WandaVision, that was a whole ride, and going through that, not everyone was going to know. And then once it was revealed, like the secret, it was awesome. It was an experience. But I didn't share that. I didn't spoil it for someone who hadn't watched it. All I said was, it is the type of show that you watch and you join the experience of the main character. As long as you're just watching it for the ride, you think about things that are happening, it's going to get revealed. I can't say anything because it's a fucking trip. And then I just walk away. But it's so good to just allow someone to have that experience and kind of just hype it up just that bit because you enjoyed that experience yourself. And now someone else is going through it. And it's like, yes, someone else might enjoy this. Someone might not enjoy it. They might have different opinions about it. They might have seen something different that I didn't see. I love it. I love it. And I really need to find the Black Materia in Rebirth and fucking finish that game so I can uninstall it. Ugh. But my segue was Dragon Ball Z. Dragon Ball has a new arc in Super. Super hasn't continued in 7 years. We are now getting, I believe, Moro. He's the next big villain in the manga. and that's the next storyline. So that's going to be fucking interesting 7 years later. She's my best friend. What can I say? I love hanging out with her. Oh,
Good on you, Sixer. That's always positive to hear.
that's the shit I love to hear.
Yeah.
Because your partner is your partner. Oh my God.
Well,
I will never forget this.
That's provided you find the right partner, that the two of you complement each other and you're both on the same page in the direction of life you choose to walk.
I was at work and this guy called and he said, "Oh, I need to book an appointment." Okay, no worries. "Oh, it's not for me. It's for my wife." "No worries. Let's get your partner in." "She's not my partner. She's my wife." Whoa. If you react that badly to me saying that that's your partner, which is, I'm sorry, a partner doesn't have to be a same sex or an LGBTQ plus term. A partner is two people who are there for each other, in my opinion. You are a party of two. You work together. You are friends. You are family. You are there for each other. You're a wife, husband, then you have made a vow to each other that you will be partners together in life. If your reaction is, "She is not my partner, she is my wife," fuck you. Anyways.
Welcome to the therapy session. Joining us is Dr. StreetRat.
Yes, I got my doctorate. I did do psychology and philosophy as units in uni for video games. So sit the fuck down and I will talk at you about psychology. I'm joking. I would never fucking do that. I would cringe at myself.
I studied in uni from my psychology for dummies book. It was quite eye-opening.
I learned it from ChatGPT.
Yes. Google told me.
The other Dragon Ball announcement was a brand new RPG game called Project Age 1000. This is very interesting because Age 1000 is at the time of the Xenoverse era of the Time Patrol unit.
Okay.
So is this going to be similar to Kakarot, where you're playing as a brand new character in a new verse? I don't know. I am WebMD certified, Mayo Clinic PhD. You've outsmarted us, Sixer.
Oh, dear Lord, Sixer. We're not worthy. We're not worthy. Anyway. So essentially, they're furthering the timeline and going into some absurd territories and
well, we've already had 2 Xenoverse games already set in that time period. So it's going to be interesting what this focus game is, because Sparking Zero just got announced with more DLC. I think they're adding like 20 new characters. Kakarot just had its last DLC. I don't know if it's final, but its last one, which is Daima Part 2. Then you've got the new game that's coming out. Don't they have another game? Fuck, that multiplayer one. That's like Dead by Daylight, where you have one villain.
Oh, I haven't heard anything
people.
I haven't heard anything about that. I feel like that's been dead.
Pretty sure that has been getting updated. But so it's very interesting that they're making a new game. Very interesting. I'm very happy about it because I like Dragon Ball, the games. But Kakarot's probably my all-time favorite Dragon Ball game because I get to play as Trunks. Fucking sick. I love him. I very quickly Super Mario Galaxy trailer, the new one for Yoshi.
Yeah, I saw that. I think last week at Jason's. It's looking good. It's looking good.
I'm excited. It's going to be a Mario movie. I'm not expecting anything groundbreaking. I'm expecting all these references and going, oh my God, I know that. That's from this game. Oh, that's from that game. I'm excited. I'm going to be giddy about it.
You know what I don't understand? Why are they calling it Galaxy and then they're showing all this content from Odyssey? Like, I get the relation from a time perspective that
Because
Odyssey's
of
the
Rosalina.
most. Yeah, but really? Odyssey?
Yeah.
How's Rosalina playing to Odyssey? I thought she was really only in Galaxy.
Well, Odyssey was just the open world of where the Mushroom Kingdom is. So whatever that world is, that was just showing, well, I forget what the country's called, but where the Mayan world is, that's a different part of the world that you explore. So New Donk City is another place within that world that Peach lives in.
Right.
Galaxy is more so leaving that planet and traveling to other planets, which we might see more of.
So theoretically, it's kind of, it starts in Odyssey, and then we go off into Galaxy and meet Rosalina.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I guess they can kind of merge it that way. That makes sense. It's just, it was very like, what? Okay, sure. That's what we're doing because marketing.
Yeah. But at the same time, why couldn't you have that?
No, I mean, you're right.
If it's something that exists in that realm, why can't it just be a place that they can go to? Because you don't ride a motorbike there. That's from Mario Kart. So why is Mario Kart there?
Because they can.
Exactly.
Yeah. I get it. That's fine. It's one of those things that if they're happy, if that's how they want to express all those particular bits of the lore and the world building, man, it's just impressive to see how good it looks.
Oh, stunning.
And especially from that studio. What is it? Illumination. Thank you.
That's all right.
Like, to go from
Gru,
Despicable,
and
to this is
Despicable
really
Me
impressive.
and the Minions.
Yep.
What else did they do?
They've done a few things, but
Illuminations is not How to Train Your Dragon, is it?
No, that was DreamWorks. Unless that was still under.
No.
The Lorax, Pets, Sing, Dr. Zeus. Yeah. That's basically
I'm so
it.
excited.
Ice Age. Wait, did they do Ice Age? No. Maybe they had people from the Ice Age team who started this. Yeah, Despicable Me, Hop, The Lorax, Despicable Me 2, Minions, The Secret Life of Pets, Sing, Despicable Me 3, The Grinch, The Secret Life of Pets 2, Sing 2, Minions, and then, yeah, now we're up to Super Mario Bros. And Despicable Me 4. I don't know how these movies are still being made. Clearly, there are kids that are being neglected for content at the cinema.
Merch.
Oh, yeah, I mean, cute little alien, yellow. Hey, it is me. Ha! I don't know.
No, they don't even talk.
Yeah, that's right, yeah. I thought they do talk a little bit. Anyway, all right. So one of the topics I'm going to leave for next week because we can discuss that in further detail. I figured since we're kind of in the you brought up being, what's the word you used? Exhausted by gaming especially like open world games, by doing the same shit and seeing the same shit.
Oh, with Highguard having the same style mechanics of every other game, because looking at the trailer, it was just, oh, that's been pulled from Apex Legends. The mounts is essentially your tanks from Respawn's Titanfall.
Yep.
You know, there's just so many things that it pulls from that these online games start to feel a fatigue, and that's why they're not staying alive for as long, because the time has passed. And as unfortunate as it is, it's hard to make an online competitive game when you have already established ones. Fortnite isn't going away. Though its popularity has gone down, it's still as popular. Call of Duty, I think its popularity has gone down, but it's still there. Battlefield, with the recent one, the interest is now reimagined. So there's that. There's Counter-Strike will never drop in popularity. That will always be Counter-Strike.
Yeah, I was listening
then
to yeah, go on. I'll let you finish.
I was just going to say, like, Smite is trying to be as popular, but Marvel Heroes is popular because you're playing as your favorite fucking superhero. Like, it works. And that game is doing better than what what's the Blizzard one? Overwatch. I think it's doing better than Overwatch. I don't think that's doing as well. Maybe in the Asian market, but I'm not sure. I can't. I haven't researched in their player base. I'm only going by headcanon.
I think
that's what I feel is fatiguing.
Yeah, so I think a lot of these games with the multiplayer stuff, not to get too far into it, but a lot of it I think just comes down to inbuilt fan base as well as nostalgia. The Counter-Strike stuff I think works because of the simplicity. Because it was there so long ago that people just recognize it. But I think the biggest thing for Counter-Strike is, and even Team Fortress, the games that are simple, some will just stand the test of time. Simple mechanics, easy to grasp, with really good skill-based opportunity means it's now up to the player to see how good you are, because it's no longer about who can get in the first kill or who's got, the best use of timing with their abilities. It's just, nope. Do you know the field well enough? Can you work well with your team, and how good are you at shooting? Like, it's just core fundamentals. It doesn't get any more. It's like why certain fighting games have still stood the test of time, because the core mechanics just work. But no, going into fatigue of experiences, have you seen Google's little project?
No.
So I'm going to play it on my stream.
Okay.
This is called Googles Genie 3.
Oh, God. In 2025, Google announced Genie 3, a foundational model for you create your own world.
I'm just going to mute the audio for myself because we don't.
Oh, so it's like Dream. Introducing Project Genie.
So, using AI, you type in exactly what you want, the type of character that you want to play, and off it goes and creates. Now, it is obviously fundamentally basic. As far as what we can see from this, as far as how it's designed, it doesn't look like it has any deeper mechanics thus far. There might be some other tools that you can obviously implement into this that it'll then program the mechanics for you. what the depth and what the length and what the scope of what you can create and how it streams it, whether it has a memory to remember what you're looking at, I don't know. Because this is the thing. We're seeing very small clips. So who's to say that you turn around and its memory is not able to remember that that mountainside was that shape at that point in time, or that specific object that you had in that world is still going to be there when you come back, when you've gone off exploring. It's really cool. And I admire and appreciate the potential that this offers from a creative perspective of idea making. And what's interesting is after this announcement recently, obviously the stock market for a bunch of game companies kind of tanked because, whole host of people went, well, this is now the future of entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Creativity is always going to be rewarded to those who have the best and interesting ideas. And a lot of the times that does come from a group of people, not necessarily from an individual, because there's only so much an individual person can come up with and muster.
Yep.
What this showcases for me is something that I remember seeing in, I don't know if you've seen Orville.
Oh,
the TV show.
I haven't watched it, but I know
Seth MacFarlane. I think it's Seth MacFarlane. So, and I don't know if Star Trek plays with this, but in Orville they have a machine which is their little virtual reality machine. But the way it works is you walk into a room and you tell the AI computer, hey, I want you to simulate this space. And it obviously simulates it. So now they're like, they say, all right, I want to be in a Western. And I want to be in, a town in a Western. All right. And it creates it. And then you just keep talking to the computer as they're kind of doing here, where it'll just populate and add AI prompts and do this and do that. So in the show, it's used as a tool for people to kind of experiment with, play with ideas, use as a means for training sometimes. Maybe they want to kind of play around with, all right, I want to have a conversation with someone. So I'm going to set up the parameters as if I'm having this conversation with this person, having this hard kind of talk with them about this particular topic, to then actually go have the conversation. And I think there is future potential. I know it's scary from one aspect for a lot of creatives, because something like this means that you and I, with little to no experience, can now just go and create our own games. And I think there is something to be said about the fact that in today's society, people will just use this tool. They won't even bother buying games, potentially, depending on how accessible this is on the market, because I guarantee you're going to pay a subscription. But it essentially gives people the tools to just go, what would it be like to play this kind of character in this world? Or what would it be like to explore this space with this person, or this, do whatever. Okay, cool. Well, now I don't really have the need to play video games. Theoretically, that's what people believe. That may be the case for some. But I think at the end of the day, there's always going to be a reason to play video games in some form or fashion, because games have existed for so long. Chess is still around to this day and is still played regularly by a group of people. It might not necessarily be mass market, but it's still enjoyed and it's still appreciated and it's still shared and it's still learned. And I think at the end of the day, if you're making an interesting product, these tools and these opportunities for development offer something different, but they're never going to be to the same scale that a group of 10, 20, 50, 100 people coming together, collaborating, working on artwork, working on an experience that someone can then pick up and go through like a book or like a really well developed film is still going to be worth people's time versus just here's something that people can just shit at and go, oh, I wonder what would it be like to play as a dog in an underwater city. And they will get 5 minutes or maybe 10, 15 minutes of entertainment and then walk away back to their normal life. But I don't think it's going to be the same enriching experience unless they put in the effort like a group of artists would on their project. And so now you're going through the same process of, yeah, it's easy to come up with an idea on the spot, but it's through iteration and addition and sometimes cutting down the fluff that we're able to create something that's far more precious and far more unique. But what are your thoughts?
I'm curious at what limitations it will have.
Mm-hmm. Well, I reckon memory is going to be a big one.
Well, who says I can't just say, I want a male character who has a huge swinging dick, who can fly, and the world to be hell. I want a game like that. Is that a limitation? What is... I mean, I'm assuming the AI that Google's using is using all the accessibility it has because Google has had decades of building its search engine, so much so that it can pull from anywhere. I'm curious. And not only that, people are uploading personal images. You're feeding into the AI.
Yeah.
Like that photo of the girl took of her room with the cat. Oh, I'm going to upload a photo of this person because I want my character to look like this. Now you've just fed AI what this person is into the system.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. You
do got to wonder how it'll affect the legality side of things, whether it will, whether people
Who
will
says
even
I can't
bother.
make a Kingdom Hearts game?
Mm-hmm. And that's the funny thing, because if Google is pulling from the web base, which everyone, let's face it, everything we've been doing with Google, every single aspect of the internet is probably filtered through Google somehow. So it has a massive database that it can pull from.
Yep.
It's the biggest library. Like, the internet itself is a huge library of information that these servers can just kind of look at, assess, and then develop and create whatever you've asked it to based on the references. I mean, we're uploading to YouTube right now. That in itself is a reference. Every time we're playing Baldur's Gate, it's picking up references for all of that content. Where the fuck is it getting it from? And we've all just been ticking the boxes and saying, yes, we will happily give whatever our information that we are creating or any of our creative control over to this grand server. Because we get to, use a lot of these services for free. I got to find ways to monetize it somehow. And we do it willingly. This is something that I think some people have become privy to. But the reality is this modern generation isn't even considering it. I don't even think it's a concern like it is for the older generation where they grew up in a time and an era where information was controlled and what you said mattered. And that's not to say that what you say nowadays doesn't matter. It does. But I don't think people understand the scale in which what they're saying, what they're posting, what they're doing is also being recorded in some form of fashion online. And that information isn't just forgotten. Even if you are, I mean, yeah, you've got VPNs that are theoretically hiding that. How well they're hiding it, at what scale, who knows? But there would be some trace of someone or something looking at specific websites or specific links at some point in time.
It's a lot to use AI. The amount of resources it takes.
Yeah, I mean, this is the big issue right now, isn't it?
It's insane. I don't see it lasting very long because of the viability it needs to sustain. There's no funding towards it. It's much like the 3D spectacle everyone had. I don't think it's going to last long. Maybe for the year, but I don't see, and you're right, I don't see big games utilizing it.
It's a tough
I
one, isn't
don't. It is because I don't like AI.
Yeah. You being an artist, I get that.
Yeah. And I would never ask for it to generate something for me because then I'm taking away something from myself that I really appreciate. I love that I can make something out of nothing. Does it take me a while? Yes. But I enjoy it. And, you know, my streams, the artwork that I'm doing for it, I'm so appreciative of it. Even though we get people coming through the stream going, oh, I can make art for you. That's awesome that you can make art and you are making it. That's awesome. Not interested, but
Yep.
You're going out of your way to do it. I like that. But AI is just taking so much away from us. And it comes to the society change of, well, we want to take more away from humans so that they've got more time to do other things. But that's the point of humans, that we share in our creativity. I mean, look at the Greeks and the philosophers of that time, the scientists. You know, we wouldn't have the days or months, we wouldn't have the understanding we have now of how the worlds orbit the sun. We wouldn't have that if it was AI. And to get to this point, we needed to be creative. And now we're stripping that away. It just takes so much. And I think that's a huge cost to the humans and growth because of that whole... Well, you don't need to think. You don't need to be creative and express yourself in unique ways because we've got a machine to do that for you. And it's like, well, what's the fucking point then? And I worry, but there are some games that I like Where Winds Meet. I think it utilizes AI really well because it's filling in the, oh, well, I can actually chat to an NPC without so much work needed to be in it.
Yeah.
Yes, is that contradictory? Yes, absolutely. But there are good aspects to it. It can fill in gaps of tools, then taking skills away from someone.
Yeah.
I would much rather someone work on, okay, these are the prompts that I can put into the game. You can only talk about these things. You can't talk about, I don't know, Pokemon in this game because Pokemon is not an IP that exists. So I'm setting the boundaries and whatnot when you play the game. Perfect. That's awesome. I don't know if it uses AI generative voices.
Yep.
I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I
that part I
haven't
don't
delved
know.
into it. All I know is you can chat, like you will type out conversations and it will chat back to you.
Yep.
That to me is the path I would like in video games, especially in a game like that. Inzoi, another reason that I think AI is really good, having so many other characters that actually do things. The Sims fucking sucks, but when you play Inzoi, sure, it's early access and it's rough around the edges, but at least the characters in that feel congruent to the world.
Yep.
They're not, a wabba labba dooba da, and they're stuck because an item that you've placed has blocked them. No, in Inzoi, at least the character can go, okay, the AI has developed that this chair can be moved, so I will move the chair in to get across. It makes sense. So
Yep.
I like that it can be used as a tool. And I've said this before. As a tool, I think it is great. But if it's going to be used to replace how we express ourselves and how we communicate, how we present, how we build ourselves, then fucking forget it. I'm not interested. AI is a tool. It needs so much work because it's grabbing so much information, and because the internet has so much conflicting information with itself, it just doesn't know what is the right answer and what is the wrong answer, what is an opinion. Let's not forget, a lot of people have opinions. It's grabbing opinions and making it a fact.
Yeah.
That is dangerous.
Mm-hmm.
Because my opinion is not going to be the same as Bob on the other side of the globe. But it's going to give me Bob's opinion as a fact and skewer my mind going, oh, that's why when I use Google and it comes up with Google AI, I scroll past that shit straight away. I'm not looking at it. It's not trustworthy. I can't. So I'm worried about AI, but I don't think it's going to last as long. And I don't think it's going to be as imperative in video games as everyone's making it out to be, because it is fucking costly. You think it's cheaper to fire your staff and use AI? Good fucking luck. That shit is expensive. So fucking expensive. So good luck.
It's not just expensive. It's also, you're adding more work. So this is something I keep hearing. I've heard like two arguments to this. Because on the one hand, and it depends on the kind of producers you're dealing with, but on the one hand, you've got people that use it as a means to not just assist with certain monotonous tasks that need to be done again and again and again and again and again, but you can use it as a concept designer to give you ideas. Now, the ex-creator of the original God of War, what is his name? Fucking hell. Why can't I think of his bloody name? God of War creator. David Jaffe. So he talked about how typically it would cost him as a developer as essentially being a director of the game, the idea guy, hundreds and thousands of dollars to ask an artist, all right, I want you to come up with, I want you to create a character and I want him to have these attributes and this kind of look and I want him to be this skin tone. All right, cool. So you wait a couple of days, the artist comes back with a couple of sketches, a couple of designs. Okay, but can you tweak this? Can you change this? Can you change that? Okay. He goes off, he does his work, he comes back. All right. Can you do this? Can you do this? Tweak it. And you do this for like a week, a couple of weeks, whatever, however long it takes until you eventually get to, awesome, this is the one I want. Now I want you to go out and create the model and do what we need to bring this character to life. Awesome. As opposed to, all right, I need to get to this idea without spending hundreds and thousands of dollars doing this back and forth game with an artist, whereas I can just do it on PC, get it to as close to the idea as I want, to then take that to an artist and say, all right, I want you to create this in your expression. So I only have to do it once or twice as opposed to numerous iterations. And I kind of look at that from the business and money aspect and I go, you're right, Jaffe. But maybe there is something that's lost in you showing an artist exact that one image that's maybe closer to what you want, as opposed to having the artist come through with the process where he's actually kind of able to maybe add his own spin that might make you go, oh, I didn't actually consider that as an opportunity, or a extra story beat, or something in the character that the AI just went, well, we're just doing exactly what you're telling us to. So it's interesting to see the different perspectives that people have towards this technology, where it is a great tool. It can be useful, but it also has its limitations, and it does unfortunately mean that people lose some of the fundamental skills that we take for granted. That's part of the kind of growing process of coming to a realization of, again, that refinement of, I'm going to create something. I'm going to enjoy the process. It's going to be frustrating. There are moments I'm just going to be pulling my hair out. But when I get to the final result, it's going to be closer to what I want. It's not going to be perfect, but it's going to be as close to exactly what I was looking for. And it's more rewarding than just reload, tweak the parameters on the program, and then, all right, it's good enough. And then which one's going to be quicker? Which one's going to be more cost effective? I mean, yeah, you're right. The cost on the AI tech itself in running those server farms is ridiculous. It's beyond just unimaginable.
Yeah.
But
it's a lot.
You know, there's obviously something there that these companies are trying to invest while also figuring out how do we monetize and make money off of this shit. So, I don't know. It's exciting as a tool, and it's exciting as a means for exploration. And the more we accept that and come to terms with it for a tool, it'll be great. The reality is, I think what people are worried about, and is going to be very much the case, is a lot of people using this as a means to sell real life products, which in turn is potentially stealing from someone else's hard work and effort. And because not everyone's necessarily privy to quality, as we've seen with a lot of streaming services now, or even music creation, Am I being entertained for at least though the 5 or 10 minutes or an hour, 2 hours that I require that I get every night? Yes, then you've done your job.
Yeah.
But let's be real here. When someone puts in a lot of effort and creates something that's just out of this world that resonates on some deeper level, that shit's gonna spread like wildfire, and it's still gonna sell, and it's gonna be as enjoyable and as creative as anything else, and will probably still outshine anything that's made by AI. Because when you're dealing with something that's now resonating with people on the human level and on the subconscious kind of soul level,
Mm.
you can't really compete with that. At least I don't think. And we could be wrong. It's a tough pill. It's a tough pill to swallow, isn't it?
Yes.
Because on the one hand, you want this tech to exist and you want it to be used in the safest and the best possible way.
Mm-hmm.
But anyone who's smart and has been on this earth long enough knows that there will be enough bad actors and enough producers, especially like enough publishing houses. You have someone like Yves Guillemot that'll look at this tech and go, you know what? I think I can make a game myself now. I don't need any of the Ubisoft team. I can make my Rayman, and I will tell Google Genie to make the Rayman that I want that will sell billions of dollars. And that can either be a make or break for him.
Yeah.
And it might work, it might not. If it sells, then clearly it's a success. Because let's face it, that is the barometer of success. Did you make a lot of money? Did a lot of people buy your product and not return it or not complain about it? They might have criticism, they might have thoughts, they might not like certain aspects. But if everyone fucking bought it, clearly it was good enough for the masses.
Mm.
Everybody knows cigarettes are shit. There's nothing of substance. But god damn it, do people still spend thousands upon thousands of dollars a year buying them and smoking their lungs out?
Yes. But AI is not an addiction.
Not yet. I mean, it is for some people.
Yeah. True.
Define the addiction. So I've read into this. So like now a lot of the porn sites are obviously getting all these AI type porn videos. And here's the thing, man. Let's be real here. If you can talk to this thing or type and tell it, I want you to put me in this world and have me interact with babes, and it has that potential because of, like what we were talking about, it doesn't have filters, it doesn't have these parameters in place to block out that type of footage or that type of content. That in itself is an addiction, because now you can fulfill your own fantasies and your own enjoyment, and even if it's shallow, there's nothing to it. You're addicted to the experience. You're addicted to the creative process of going, I can just tell it what I want it to make, and it's going to make it. And depending on the brain, the brain is either going to recognize at some point that it's so shallow that it's really not worth it. Just like every time you have an itch, you're going to scratch it. Or you have enough mental strength or enough mental realization that you go, it's just a scratch or it's just an itch, but it's not actually giving me any real substance. It's not food. I'm eating junk food right now. I'm not eating healthy food. So I'm not really going to get the benefit. Let me go out there and see what other more enriching experiences I can get. So I honestly feel like this tech in the hands of a lot of regular people could very well be an addiction.
True.
Depending on the tools that are offered.
Hmm. I mean, AI has told people to commit suicide, and they have, so there is an addiction side to it.
Yeah.
Gosh.
It's terrifying. It's scary.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to talk about it now
Okay.
because I have a theory. So, Tomb Raider.
Yes.
30th anniversary announcement.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I have some notes that I will
Okay.
read. So, who is it? Crystal? No. Yeah,
I thought it
is
was
Crystal
Crystal.
Dynamics. Yeah.
Well, hold on. Yeah, I think it's Crystal, but it's being, if you're talking about the remake, it'll
That's
be
Aspire.
Wild Hog. Is it Aspire or Wild Hog?
Oh, those remastered. The remake of that is both Crystal and Wild Hog.
Yeah.
So, this is what it reads.
Oh, there's an article.
It's been 30 years since Lara Croft climbed, jumped, and swan dived onto the scene, and every moment since has been an adventure. From her sharply polygon origins in 1996 to the recently announced Tomb Raider Legends of Atlantis, our favorite British archaeologist and adventurer has established herself as gaming's most iconic heroine, and we plan to celebrate that legacy all year long. To kick off the festivities, we're collaborating with an incredible array of partners who will be releasing special 30th anniversary products this year. So you've got 8-Bit Dough, which is the third-party hardware company. So they'll make retro-inspired gaming peripherals. So I imagine a Tomb Raider-themed controller. We've got Blend Cotta Studios, which is an artist for Tomb Raider Legends of Atlantis. So they're doing some new artwork. Dark Horse, which is making a new comic. You've got figurines, Funkos, Loungefly's making Tomb Raider gear. Tomb Raider Gear Shop is getting new stuff. But a interesting part of this is Aspire is listed here. The company that has released 3 releases of the Tomb Raider game. You've got the remastered games of 1, 2, and 3, the remastered games of 4, 5, and 6, and Tomb Raider 2013 being re-released on the Switch. So you're telling me that they're partnering with Aspire for a release of a game this year? Interesting. The Next Level developer and publisher whose recent work includes Tomb Raider 1 through 6 Remastered, available now on all platforms, and the release of the Tomb Raider Definitive Edition on the Nintendo Switch and Nintendo Switch 2. Why the fuck Are you telling me that Aspire is collaborating with Crystal Dynamics? Are we getting Legends, Anniversary, and Underworld as a trilogy remastered?
Mm,
Are we getting Rise and Shadow on the Switch? We're getting more games that they haven't announced. We're potentially getting 5 games of Tomb Raider this year. And then
they are.
the new one next year, like the one that comes after Underworld, is coming out next year. Catalyst. That's crazy.
They're really pumping these out, and I do wonder whether they really need to be pushing it this hard. Because theoretically, if they're releasing the new remake this year, is it really worth? I honestly feel like what you were talking about the other day, or like a month back, that releasing
Every stream.
yeah, that releasing Legends Anniversary and Underworld would kind of be a detriment because it's a slightly tweaked timeline.
Correct. But they've unified the timeline. And technically, Catalyst plays after Underworld. And those games are not accessible on every console.
Oh, yeah.
I've said this before, and their mission is that every single Tomb Raider will be available on every single console. The Lao, so Legend Trilogy, is not on every console. Rise and Shadow is not on every console. And those games are now imperative to the storyline.
Yeah.
I don't give a shit about the Survivor Trilogy. Don't give a fuck. Legends, Anniversary, and Underworld, I do give a fuck. I want to play those games on my Switch too, so I can play them on the go and just fucking replay them because I think they're fantastic games.
I mean, if that's the case, then from a marketing standpoint, they must be considering, okay, if we are maybe getting these new fans on board, not just with a new game, but we've got this TV show that's, you know, it based on what we've seen of Sophie Turner dressing up as her, they're obviously going for the old classic look. So they're going, we're going to have a TV show that's very closely in tangent to the old classic games so that maybe we can
just going to interrupt you. I'm just going to interrupt. Is it though? Because if they're marketing for Legends of Atlantis, yes, it is classic, but it is the Lara Croft. It's the green tank top, brown shorts, brown boots, brown backpack, dual pistols, red sunnies. That is the Lara that they are now bringing back with Legends of Atlantis. This, to me, is them, and you're right, it is bringing in a new crowd of people who haven't experienced the games, but it is now the focal point of the Lara Croft, because the last Lara was the Survivor one. Remember that movie, Tomb Raider, with Alicia, what her name was?
You mean the one I forgot about after I watched it because it was a waste of my fucking time?
It was fine. Like, that's all it was. It was fine.
No. Fine are the Schumacher Batman movies. Fine. But that's what I mean. They're fine. They're not amazing. They're not spectacular. They're not even good. They're just fine. Let's increase our standard of fine so that we stop getting really shitty fucking films. Because they're not fine. Their attempt at the Survivor films was such a fucking slap in the face. It's like, what are you doing?
Yes.
The Survivor series by itself already had low budget potential. and you somehow made it even worse. You're on the border of what you'd get direct to DVD from like the smallest studios. It was just no. Like, I get it. I'm sure it still was costly and it still took them a lot of time and a lot of effort was put into it. But you could tell it was just, it's not fine. It's not.
I like the Angelina Jolie movies. I thought they were really good.
I only ever watched the first one. So, yeah, I don't have much context for the second one.
But those movies were the marketing movies for the Legend games, because that mana is the mana from the movies. And that's what they're going to do with the Sophie Turner and Phoebe Waller Tomb Raider show.
Yep.
It's going to be marketing Legends of Atlantis, Catalyst, and the potential re-releases of the older games.
Mm-hmm.
But I just find it interesting that not only are we getting a brand new reboot or retelling or a retelling of the first game, but we're potentially getting Legends, Anniversary, Underworld, Rise, and Shadow, and then Catalyst next year. That's a lot of Tomb Raider.
Mm-hmm.
For its 30th anniversary, I'm so happy to have 4 games that I'm interested in releasing in 1 year, and then one I'm cautious about because it's completely open world. So I'm very cautious about it. But a whole new game next year, that's insane.
Yeah. They're banking a lot on this franchise and this IP by the sounds of it. So the fact that they're putting all this money and all this development into this on multiple aspects means that they are wanting to, they're going big or go home kind of mindset. I think they have probably spent so much time on this new game set in India and then gone, okay, so how else can we infuse this? Let's remake the Anniversary game again.
Mm-hmm.
And then let's make sure that we can get a TV series, which we have already had the animation that came out, and I think we're getting a season 2 of that.
That already came out.
Yeah, that already, yep. And I think that's been doing okay, to my knowledge. I haven't actually watched any of that.
Personally,
Yeah, and that's fine.
Because it's bridging Shadow to the first game.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
Sorry. The start of Tomb Raider 1 is Larson telling Lara, hey, you defeated Bigfoot. Where the fuck is that? Where the fuck is that storyline? Lara's on the front page with Bigfoot. Where's that storyline? No one's fucking touched that. I would love... Anyways, I digress, because that's just my pipe dream for a Tomb Raider game. If you want to do a prequel, do the Bigfoot story. That's sick. But I also have pipe dreams for what Legends of Atlantis is, because I would love more playable parts that were cutscenes only. I want to be able to play in Natla's building in New York. Like, I want to infiltrate it and get the information that Pierre is at St. Francis Folly. I want to ride on the motorbike from Egypt to then jump into the boat. I want Natla taking the ski-ons being an interactive moment with the other 2 henchmen there. I want to be able to swan dive out of there and then get on a bike and then drive and then do a fucking sick swan dive from the bike into the water and then sneak onto the boat and then hide in the boat to get to Atlanta. I mean,
yeah.
What?
That's a very lovely pipe dream.
Spoilers.
That's a
Right.
very lovely
But it
pipe
would be
dream.
so cool to, if you want to make something different in a Tomb Raider game, then make it fucking different. Don't just retell the same story because I'll just play the remastered game. Fuck it. I'll play Anniversary on PC. I know the story, but this game really needs to push something different. It needs to give me more. I just really want to play it.
Yeah.
But that's some interesting things in the Tomb Raider IP.
Time will tell.
Mm,
Too early to make too many speculations, but they are really firing on all cylinders. So we shall see what comes of it. But I reckon we'll leave it there for now because it is getting late.
yes.
Where can we find you, StreetRat?
You can find me on Twitch at StreetRat_Atlas. I go live Wednesdays at 1 o'clock. Sorry, I've got hiccups. At 1 o'clock, I will be playing. I've been kind of getting into dual gaming, so I'll probably start playing either Pokemon or Stardew Valley and then get into Lies of P. Because now that I've made progress, I can actually continue playing. And then Saturdays is co-streaming with Jake, where we will do cooperative games. At this current stage, we're playing Baldur's Gate 3, and that's probably going to go for another 5 years.
At the rate we're going, yes. I'm sure someone like Impulsor would be like, if you spent more time playing the fucking game instead of chatting till 2:30 a.m. in the morning, you probably would have been done. Probably. But yes, you can find me at Jake_Starvik on Twitch and on YouTube. Wednesdays, Australian Standard Time. Australian. What is that?
Australian Eastern Daylight Savings Time?
Yes, yeah, that's it. I'm still trying to learn that specific timing. But yes, Melbourne time here for us. Playing Lies of P is what I'm doing on my Wednesdays. And yes, as StreetRat mentioned, Saturdays we are currently going through Baldur's Gate at 7:30. You can join us then. And yeah, that's about it. Thank you for joining us, and we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.